Good evening, guys. Welcome to our draft coverage. I hope that as I begin speaking here, that this is actually live. The intention is to live stream, react, slash discuss to everything that's happening, and just upfront, anyone who joins in, we're not going to concern ourselves with when a pick is announced. As the information becomes available, it's going to be posted directly on our website. Draftsignal.pro, which we'll be tracking, essentially live the whole time. So, Jake, thanks for joining in live, which is a new thing, a little bit, I guess, for both of us, right?
Yeah, this is the first time I've done an actual live show. We've done the recorded ones in the past, but looking forward to it. I'm fired up, man. It's an exciting day.
You said you were off today, right?
I'm off the bar shift tonight. Got off that,
Okay.
But worked during the day a little bit in the day job.
Yeah, I had a feeling all day that like whatever I was doing as far as working, I hate to say this, as far as working with students and stuff, wasn't. It was what I was doing at the moment, but my brain was on the draft tonight and how things were going to go.
Autopilot, trying to get to the end of the day.
Yeah, we look live here. I was tracking on another channel. Trying to get to the end of the day and just be prepared for this, or at least put myself in the mindset to be ready for it. And it's a long day. It's a long night, excuse me. Like I told you pre-show, the times before when I've gone on Ken's show or others for 4 hours, man, the next day you feel it as far as your throat and talking. One year I had to go in and teach the next day.
Oh,
and I was having trouble, because when you teach, you're raising your voice often to tell kids, something a second or third or fifth time.
Right.
So what do you want to talk about first? The Rossini and Vrabel stuff?
Oh yeah, let's dive right into that.
I know, right? I mean, just it's the whoever was responsible for dropping that knew the exact moment. They held out on it clearly.
Yeah.
To drop
also, I don't know what Vrabel was thinking doing a press conference an hour before the draft.
I think he knew the information had so he'd been preempted or jumped. He's in trouble. He's in trouble.
Yeah, he's not going to get in trouble with the league. It's just the perception, like what people will think about him going forward, I guess, right? I mean,
yeah.
We're going
to be tracking, the picks as they come through and bringing in. At this point, we've got 3 Ravens fans / analysts to come in. Easy from Woodward Heavyweights, who's a Lions content creator and full-time media person, to my knowledge. He's going to join us around 10:15 because we estimated that by that time the Ravens would have made their pick and the Lions would have made their pick, and we'll have an opportunity to react to both of those situations. The picks will populate immediately, and I'll have it on screen for people to check out. So we're like, this is an operation, and if it doesn't come through professionally, it's my fault, to be honest with you, because all the other people are just basically alongside me. And so hopefully we can present you guys something that's interesting. And look, man, go support as many Ravens, Lions, or Seahawks streams as there are, because everybody's doing it, right? I'm sure you've seen it on social media also, right, Jake?
Yep, all over. No, Coach Evans is doing a big one. I believe Spencer and Cole and Jake are doing one as well. So a bunch of Ravens guys, great content all across YouTube today. So go check them out. Hang out with us all night.
I love the fact that you can, when you do a live stream, you can show the questions so easily.
Yeah,
I will be completely honest. When I've gone on other people's streams, I have I thought it was something more complicated than just hitting a button to show. So, but in any case, I love this element of it. It's something that maybe I didn't predict or have in my mind. So I would love to respond to questions as we go along. So really cool. Fake bot account. If Caleb Downs slides to the Ravens, would you take him? I mean, yes, with the caveat that if he's there at 14, is there a reason why? And I don't think there is personally, but if 1 or 2 or 3 front offices pass on him, then why wouldn't ours? I guess would be my question. That would be the barrier for me, if that makes sense. So, what do you think, Jake?
I'm calling Minnesota, seeing if they want to trade up for him, or see if anybody wants to trade up for him. But Yeah, I mean, he's a super, super talented guy. I don't think he's getting outside of the top 10, in my opinion.
Agreed. He shouldn't.
I saw a quote from one of the there was an article. One executive said, every team that passes on this kid is going to absolutely regret it. And he was an NFC guy and said he was hoping that he'd end up in the AFC. So
Yeah.
some high praise across the league. And he's just a super high IQ, athletic, awesome player to watch.
I mean, you watch film of him, and it looks like he knows the play. As far as the first part of your response, him in Minnesota with Brian Flores, I think would be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I think you've probably heard me say it in the Discord or maybe on stream together. 2 years ago, I did not have the same opinion of Brian Flores that I do now. I'm a huge Brian Flores fan as a defensive coordinator. And so with Caleb Downs in Minnesota, that would be amazing. I think he'd be great in Baltimore too. I just don't know exactly where we play him. I don't think that we can spend, 3 or 4 minutes on every question, but I love this aspect of it. So I want to show another one before we kind of talk about the first person that we'll bring on. One more Ravens related, and then I'm going to get to, I think it's Virgil's question. He's a Lions fan, but anything other than O-line or wide receiver round one is punting. There's definitely a talent deficit there. So this person's not wrong in the rationale or impetus for this question, in my opinion.
I agree with the offensive line part. Wide receiver, yes, it would be nice to add to that room. But it depends on who's available. Like, would you rather draft, Ioane, or I love Carnell Tate, so I'm not even going to use that example, but Ioane versus Mekhi Lemon, kind of what we were doing the other night on our mock draft. You got to weigh the pros and cons for each one. And I don't know. I'd throw Delane in that mix too. If Delane falls, can you pass up on a guy like him? So it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds. But yeah, I think they'll address both of those positions at least by the 4th round max.
Yeah. I do think, and it's something that a friend of mine who's not a content creator or someone that people would know, but he's a very intelligent football coach. He said his impression of this draft was that there's mid to late 2nd round talent at some positions that extends to the early 4th round. And I thought that was an interesting way to phrase it, that, excuse me, you're getting a high level talent a little further into this draft than maybe other drafts. He said it reminded him of 2022 in that regard. I don't think it has as many maybe high-level players, but I'm interested in – I think it's a great question or point, but I do think that they could address wide receiver a little bit later than round 1. But it's a great question, and I absolutely agree that some of the Ravens' positions have a talent deficit.
Mm-hmm.
I like
at least raise the floor. This is a draft where you got to raise the floor at certain positions, and I think wide receiver is one of those positions where you can draft a guy or two, and not only is he a rotational receiver early on, but can also contribute special teams wise too. So
yeah, I like Rashad Bateman, and I think that he can contribute. I think he can, make plays, but we've got to see it consistently. Number one, number two, there to me at times needs to be a little bit more want to with Rashad Bateman, and I'm a big Bateman fan. I have been since 2021. Yeah. I love this question. It's Lions related, so if I have to handle all of it, that's fine. Virgil, I think he may have another account because I recognize that I believe I recognize the nature of the question. But who should the Lions draft in the 1st round? Virgil, I'm a huge fan of Max Ahinachor, the tackle from Arizona State. I also like Blake Miller from Clemson. I understand the discussion around Proctor. I certainly would not advocate for what I think it's Peter Schrager put out there yesterday. I thought that was garbage to say the Lions trading up to draft Proctor when they could probably draft Proctor or Ahinachor or Miller or Freeling, maybe. Freeland probably gone earlier at 17. A tackle for me, Virgil. And hey, I'm one of the ones that's been out there really loudly saying that Brad Holmes needs to go at the other defensive end spot and get Aiden Hutchinson some help, even though Muhammad had 11 and a half sacks last year. I know, Jake, you don't have as much familiarity as I do with the Lions, but, they need another tackle, but they need another defensive end just as badly.
Yeah, I could see the only pushback that I have there in terms of like a trade up for a tackle is if one of these teams identifies a guy that they really, really want and they don't want to risk losing him by sitting at, say you're the Lions at 17, the Ravens are there at 14, moving up 3 spots to go get your guy, make sure that nobody else jumps you. Yeah, I think I would go tackle here. It just depends on who they like. I've heard and read a lot of things about how they are interested in Caden Proctor, but he certainly is not my favorite by any means. I think a guy like Fano, I saw, I think somebody mocked Lomu there a little while ago.
Yeah.
That'd be an interesting fit. He's a super athletic guy, but
My favorite comment so far, man.
my buddy Blaine.
Let me know when you get it. Oh, you got it already.
Yep. Oh gosh. It's definitely better, Blaine. It's definitely better.
I love this aspect. Calvin checking in. Thank you, Calvin, for joining in, man. I know he's in the Discord, probably making sure everyone has access to the draft live. Let's put it that way. So super thankful for you to join in the live stream here for a moment. So thanks a lot. I'm not sure where Eastport is.
Good old Annapolis.
Okay.
That's also Blaine.
Okay. Nice. Pumping up our comments artificially.
Oh yeah. Love it.
Appreciate it. I guess, other people are going to be watching it live. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be relying on this screen that you guys see. And I want to point out Walter and Jen from our Discord are behind the scenes entering the data. So as a draft selection is made, we assume it's going to be Mendoza, right? That'll show up. In addition, I'll have at times when I'm not showing this screen, like say, for example, when I talk to Easy or perhaps Josh Slaughter, who's a Lions fan that is in our Lions Discord and someone I think extremely highly of and would like to work with, to be honest with you. When I have him in here, I'll have the ticker up at the bottom displaying the picks, and I'll be responsible for trying to enter that in. So I'm sure I'll be late or behind on that. So we're multitasking here, trying to have as much fun as possible. I really love the comment portion of this. I didn't know, to be completely honest, I didn't know that StreamYard and YouTube Live was integrated so easily.
Yeah, I had no idea about that. I thought you had to do it through like YouTube or have some sort of, integrated app.
Really cool point by Potato Profit with an interesting avatar, but I think the draft provides really good depth for a lot of teams. I would agree. And I think that, again, gets to the point that I referenced earlier, that you can get second grade level talent pretty far into this draft. I don't know that it extends, all the way into the early to mid 4th round, but I do think there's a glut of, well, let's use a grade B to maybe B plus players, a surplus of those guys, if you will. And even to go beyond that, safety, tight end, and corner, I think you're going to see guys drafted in the 4th, 5th round that are going to get a lot of snaps for their team this year.
Even receiver. You can add receiver into that mix if you didn't already mention that one. Yeah, receiver, corner, those are the 2 deep ones. Tight end also, another deep class. Like I said earlier, I think you can find a guy in the 3rd, 4th round at receiver if you're the Ravens who can get on the field somewhat early in his career and be a contributor. I mean, look, he's not going to play over Bateman. He's not going to play over Zay. And he's not going to get as many targets or receptions as Mark Andrews. So we're talking about a guy who's catching 20 passes maybe this year.
Yeah, compete with Walker. Those guys push each other. Yeah,
exactly.
We need competition, no doubt about it. Be more bandit. Thanks a lot for the super chat or super thanks, man. That was really, really awesome. I didn't even necessarily anticipate those this evening. Really, to be honest with you, I didn't even anticipate the ability to show comments like this. So it kind of makes the juggling act here a little more challenging, but a lot more fun. My guess is it'll go by really quickly.
Oh, look, there's TJ Watt on Cam Hayward.
I'm not sure what this one, AI voice commercials for grass seed. No idea what that one is.
I know what he's talking about. I get those from time to time.
When I first started reading that comment, I thought he was talking about me. I was getting self-conscious. All right, so once we get started here, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out with the 8-minute, with the 8-minute time limit that they have. I have friends of mine who are cynical like me who think that NFL is just going to pack on the ads, and I have other friends I would call normies who say, "Oh, it's going to be done at 11."
Yeah, we're hoping that it's done by 11, that's for sure. But the NFL, they love to make themselves some money, so they'll pack in as many commercials as possible.
Yeah. Where are we on the stream right now as far as the show, the picks?
Currently, Cam Hayward is hyping up the crowd at the podium, so I'm assuming they're going to get started here in a little bit.
What do you think of the Ravens fan base being moved or something like that during the day?
Yeah, what was that all about? Did you read anything into that, or?
I didn't click the link. I didn't have time. I had a student in my room, so I was preoccupied.
Yeah, such a strange move. I guess so the backstory to that is the Ravens fan section. They're grouped in sections by like what team you're a fan of, and I guess the Ravens fan little cluster was in front of the Steelers one, if I remember correctly, and they like moved the Ravens all the way to the back so the Steelers could be front and center.
I see,
but who knows? That's just a strange thing.
That's really cool. Just checking out the features here. So we will have over the course of the night, we'll have some people on to talk about the Ravens options before they pick. I think it's Frank. He's got Frank Sports, I think is his tagline on Twitter. And then Karuga Coinage, who's a local professional writer and does Ravens and Orioles content on social media, but I also believe for publications as well. He'll join us, I believe, a little bit after that. So we'll have multiple people to talk about the Ravens, and then 2 from the Lions, and maybe 2 or 3 from the Seahawks fan base as well. It's going to be a long night. I'm just hoping that they get the pick started here soon. Yeah. I like drafting Vega at 14, Chris. I think multiple people have talked about that it sets the stage. It puts everything in order for the rest of the draft. But I am also very interested in trade back options. Guys like Blake Miller, Max Ahinachor, possibly move inside, and others, as options to be that kind of guard / tackle. But it's, it'd be a lot to ask of Ahinachor, who's a young guy, hasn't played a lot of football, mind you, to be multiple like that.
I like Ahinachor a little more than I do Blake Miller, even though Miller has the experience. Ahinachor he has the basketball background, so he's got good feet, balance, and I believe he's a little stronger, weighs a little more, and I believe a little bit longer in the arm. So from like a prospect creation standpoint, like he's more of your ideal mold for tackle than Miller. Both really good. I expect both of them to go in the top 40. I think Ahinachor is kind of picking up some steam here lately.
Yeah, I like his game. I like his game. Is he raw? Is he not as refined as other guys?
I'll tell you what, for a guy who's only played as much as he has, he looks pretty darn good.
Agreed.
He only played like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I liked his game. I saw him against Texas Tech a lot.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what I'm trying to do, Jake, is whenever I pull this screen up, is not have this banner showing because it's repetitive. You know what I mean?
What's that on the bottom?
The banner at the bottom, yeah, that's running. There's no reason to have both of them. Number one. Number two, I'm not sure that I'll be able to actually keep up with, the actual banner at the bottom with all the things I'm trying to do. Yeah.
All right. We are finally counting down here. 6 minutes on the clock. I'm probably behind because Kubo's about like 15 minutes behind everything. So
Matt Murray, exactly what team are you talking about? You think offensive tackle is a need? I'm guessing maybe you're talking about the Ravens. The reasons why I mentioned Ahinachor and others was a player that you could draft to be a guard early and maybe a tackle in the event of injury. But of course, to apply that to Hinachor is a little unfair or maybe unrealistic because he only played tackle right at Arizona State. I'm just talking about the body type and the athleticism as well and the size. So for the Ravens, no, they don't need a tackle. No, but if we had someone available who was a guard slash tackle, I think that's the best of both worlds because what we have behind, I'm not a believer in Vincent yet at all. I don't see any reason to be. So, what do we have behind Ronnie Stanley and Rosengarten? Not much.
I think this year for the Ravens, they'll take a guy like I'm a big fan of Jude Bowery in those, mid rounds, third, fourth round as a guy who can be your swing tackle, kind of in the McCurry role. I feel like we've missed that player specifically, especially when, Ronnie, you can't expect Ronnie to play 17 games a year anymore. It's just that's not what's going to happen at his age and with his injury history. So you need a guy who you can trust as a left tackle, play a few games, which is why guys like, Maui Noah might be tough to pass up on because he is a tackle who might be better suited as a guard, but he's capable of swinging out and taking snaps at tackle for you if needed.
No, that's a good point, Matt. Thanks for your follow-up, I should say. I think I put tackle in there for the Ravens. I'm not sure where I populated that from. I believe I populated it from the NFL mock draft database, excuse me. But certainly, there could have been other positions up there. Edge could be one of them. Defensive tackle was not listed there for the Ravens. So, we certainly could have. I only had so much room and so much text. Basically, for Lamar, since Lamar's on the right-hand side, I put the needs on the left versus like Jahmyr Gibbs. He's located on the left-hand side, so I put the needs on the right. So I only had so much room. Hopefully that makes sense, Matt. Great question. Good follow-up.
Pick us in. I wonder who they're going to take here.
Well, the good thing is it'll be populated quickly here, and I'm sure people will post it, in the comment section. I don't care about what they call spoilers or whatever. I mean, it's there. Jake Way, really cool. First of all, Lions fan since 1956. Wow. I'm just glad for people like you who, maybe went through some rough years that the Lions have such high expectations now, and they should. Those expectations should continue, in my opinion. I don't think 2025 changed a thing for me as far as what Detroit should be shooting for. It should be an NFL championship. I don't see any reason why not.
Detroit's a great football city, man. The NFL is better when Detroit's playing well. And I don't see them falling off. I mean, this year, I think, was an outlier year for them in terms of their performance. I expect them to be right back next year competing in the NFC.
Yeah, the whole offensive line issues, with Ragnow leaving, retiring, and then trying to come back. The injuries in there as well. Taylor Decker was, struggling to get through a 17-game season, which is, it's unrealistic in some ways to ask some of these guys to do that. But really, Jake, to be honest, well, both Jakes, Jake that asked the question and Jake Hallet as well, when Sam Laporta went down, huge loss, I think. I think you can even look at I think you can even look at some of the game film and see teams defending them differently. Laporta's a huge asset. Hopefully he returns. So these picks will populate. And if you're tracking our website, I don't know if you're dual screening it like both Jake and I are, but you can click on the link for the player as it's posted and take you to the player profile on draftsignal.pro, which, at this point, you're more than welcome to check out if you haven't done so already. But the idea is, it's interactive and those picks are going to populate as they come in.
All right, so we finally got one on the board here. Fernando Mendoza, expected since like November even. Mendoza, really good size, 6'5", what is he, 240-ish. You see on the field, he's accurate. He commands the huddle. Times well. He's got good enough arm strength. What I really like about him, though, is between the ears. He's so smart. He's super confident. He's going to be a fantastic leader in that locker room. And I think for the Raiders, they really haven't. They need to rebuild that culture in a way that takes them to the next level. And I think Mendoza is the kind of leader who can get his team to rally around him. I watched his interview with it was the Big Ten guys. I think it was like Mark Ingram and it was the old Urban Meyer. Mendoza was breaking down that last drive, play by play, like where guys were lining up on the field. And Urban Meyer's jaw was on the floor. He was so impressed with how he was describing it. So I thought that was awesome. That was the first time I'd ever heard him talk too. It just blew me away. So really like Mendoza.
Same here. I mean, yeah. I get it. Like, the conversation, people, okay, would he be a top 5 pick in other drafts and all of those things? I mean, whatever, it doesn't matter to me about those things. What I like a lot about him is he's very composed, number one, and he's very decisive. He knows, it seems to me as if he knows where he wants to go with the football, and he knows it almost looks like he knows ahead of time. He, in some ways, this is going to be a poor comparison because athletically he's got a little bit more than this guy, but it reminds me of Jared Goff in some ways. Because I say that Goff isn't reading the defense post-snap a lot of times. Goff is confirming, meaning he already knows what should happen, and it's confirmation. Yes, that happened, bang, ball out. And that's what I would say about Mendoza is that do you have any idea who this person is? Huge nose Hallet?
Probably my buddies in Indianapolis. Just
gotcha.
Messing around.
Understood. So I would just say that for me, that Mendoza isn't reading things oftentimes. I think he's just confirming versus reacting like other guys do, trying to figure out what the coverage actually is. What's up, Frank?
Hey, what's up, Jake? Hey, Coach. How you doing? Oh, man. Feel honored to be on the pre-Ravens spot. I'm in the pre-Ravens zone before the 14th pick, so thanks for the premium slot, Coach. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It looks like we're all three in like the same building if you look at the shading and everything. It's crazy. We're actually not. We're actually, triangulated as far as our location. But, yeah, man, first of all, thanks for agreeing to join in. And it's going to be a fun and long night. If you wanted to join back in late, more than welcome. I'll let you know. I know you'll probably watch the whole thing, right?
Oh yeah, I got it. I'm gonna be down for the whole first round tonight. It's gonna be wild, and there's like the opportunity that the Ravens could even trade back in later in the first round, which is entirely possible. Yeah. So I'm excited to see how the whole thing goes, 1 to 32.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that posted by a Seahawks content creator. And I thought, wow, the Ravens jumping back in at 32, trading back in with Seattle. I was, do I want to give up 45? No. I like that spot, but that was kind of interesting. And I didn't have time to formulate my thoughts on it. It just was a unique approach, I guess.
I'm a big fan of Peter Woods. So when I first saw that, and of course, I, like many other Ravens fans, I think just scrolled down to pick 14 and then X'd out. And then, an hour later, I saw the big graphic of all the picks, and I was shocked to see the Ravens move back to 32. But if he falls that far, I think you got to consider moving up and getting him, because finding impact, pass rush ability, D tackles it's rare, especially in this draft. I think there's a lot of specific D tackles. Like we're breaking down like the nose tackles versus the more 3-tech guys. Not that many 3-tech guys that are guys that I'm a big fan of, but Peter Woods is definitely an impact player. I think this past year was an outlier. You got to kind of look. It was kind of like Texas Tech last year, where all across the team the performances went down. I think everybody on Clemson kind of took a step back this year. So maybe there's some context behind that, who knows, but I'm a big fan of Peter
Bailey.
Woods either way. Yep, Bailey too.
Is it too?
Awesome. I think it's really interesting. Maybe, Frank, you'll have something to say about this, how, the New York teams have 6. It's actually more than 6. I think they have 7 of the top 50 picks, right? Between the Jets. The Jets have 2, 16, 33, and 44. The Giants have 5, 10, and 37. So if I did my math right, that's actually 7 of the top 44. Crazy.
Yeah, and they almost made a similar type of trade. Both teams moved off of, talented veteran players, Sauce Gardner and Dexter Lawrence, and that's how they acquired these picks. So teams are really trying to aggressively fit their timelines. If you're a star and you don't quite fit because you're not going to take them into the playoffs or into the Super Bowl, then that becomes the right timing to trade and kind of start the draft cycle again. So we're seeing teams kind of thinking similarly. Both of them and both teams also have relatively new head coaches I think Joseph and Harbaugh. So you're seeing 2 guys kind of thinking a little bit the same way.
Yeah, I think it's and I don't really care what the truth is, but there's so many people out there saying, "Oh, it's a weak draft in round 1." Well, you have 4. That goes both ways. There's what, 4 teams, 5, or is it 6 who have multiple picks in the first round? So apparently, some teams feel differently. Some teams feel like the first round talent is worth it, and some teams don't.
I think that's something which is very interesting when you think about the Ravens potentially trading in, is that there's players in this class that have some volatility team by team in terms of how they're viewed. I think that Bain, because of the arm length thing, some teams view him a certain way, some teams view him the other. Maybe that's all even just smoke. Maybe nobody even cares about arm length. I saw a video just now while I was preparing for this from Brett Coleman, how most of the best pass rushers have a certain average arm length. Now, Bain is still below that average, but his
great video, right? That video was great. Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I've been following Brett almost since he started on YouTube. So when I saw that, I'm like, okay, maybe some teams are thinking differently about it. But the guy that, you brought up Peter Woods, Jake, to me, the guy that I like, and I think me and Coach have a little disagreement on, is I happen to really like Falk. And, that's somebody who, whether one of us is right or wrong, there's people that feel this way about Falk, and there's people that feel this way about Falk. And that could lead to proper market for trades, because when you have different opinions, that's where it starts. Oh, I'll give you my 2nd and a future 4th. You just move down a little bit. We figure it out because you have that difference of opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like the Bailey pick too here. Did you guys like that? I like it.
I love David Bailey. He's been one of my favorites since last May. I think I started throwing his name into the Discord last summer. In terms of the Jets, he definitely, if Aaron Glenn is in that win now mode, and he is, because he's going to get fired if he doesn't, David Bailey, you know what you're going to get from him, at least from a pass rush standpoint. He's going to be an impact pass rusher. We'll see about what he does against the run as a little as a smaller edge defender, but comparing him to Reese, he's definitely farther along the line as a pass rusher than Reese is. So I like it. I'm a big fan of Bailey. So
yeah, I like Reese as well. I mean, he would have been. I think most Jets fans probably would have been happy with Reese, but Bailey's super talented. Probably got the best pass rush skills in the draft as far as the whole package. So I like the pick, but I recognize that some people, specifically Jets fans, may not.
Yeah, I think there's also like the Ohio State thing where people recognize the brand with Ohio State. So also they played further along in the college football playoffs, so people got more exposed to Reese in like those high profile situations. So that's part of it. I had a funny story today, actually. It's connected to a marketing conversation, but I thought it was interesting in isolation. Where speaking to a Giants fan, he says, "I don't like Caleb Downs. I think he's going to bust." And then I said, "Okay, can you tell me why?" And he's like, "I don't know. I just have this feeling." And that's where I learned. I'm like, okay, some people are, and not even wrongly, just the way people are, that they look at a brand. It could just be a name, Gucci versus Chanel. Which one do you pick? You happen to like the way Gucci sounds. I've seen a little bit of that. I think that some of the Jets fans who are anti-Bailey, or let's just say prefer Bailey to Reese, I think part of it has to do with the fact that Reese went to Ohio State that went further in the football playoff. It's just a contagious
totally agree. Totally agree. And what I mean is that I can talk about that from a Lions perspective. And I was a little surprised by it because there's some Lions fans who don't like Aiden Hutchinson and find every reason not to. Well, Aiden Hutchinson went to Michigan. And what I found out about two of the guys in my Discord, at least, who were vehemently against Hutchinson through conversing with them, I mean conversing in a normal adult way, was that they were Michigan State fans. And so there was some built-in animosity, if you will. So, not to focus on the Lions thing, but I think it matters sometimes what college team you connect to, or even what college conference. Texas Tech is a little bit out there. I think people have been talking about that, actually. Don't scout the helmet, scout the player. Wow, love it.
Wow.
So
who's going to do it? Who's going to do it? Who's going to start the running back at 3 debate? I'm just waiting to see who's going to do it.
I don't disagree with the pick. I disagree with the team. This is not a team that should be drafting a running back. They have way too many other needs to address. And I know it could be a reach to go Maui Noah here, or one of the tackles, and address your needed offensive line, but they don't even know who the quarterback is yet. It's confusing, but I guess who's their coach now? Kubiak? No, he's the Raiders. LaFleur.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know. I just don't get it. There must have been zero trade market for that 3rd overall pick if they stuck and picked.
Interesting. First of all, that one caught me by surprise. I mean, I think we all expected something different there at 3. Jeremiah Love's a fantastic player and a lot of fun to watch, and he's a weapon. I think he's a little underutilized at times in the pass game. Both him and Price have some juice there, if you ask me, as receivers and guys out of the backfield.
Yeah, he's got some great hands out of the backfield.
Arizona's got a long way to go.
Yeah, for sure. Love definitely wasn't used as much in the pass game as I thought he should have, but in the clips of him, making catches out of the backfield, they just showed the one-handed catch down the sideline. He's got really soft hands.
That was sick.
Natural catcher. So he provides you a 3-down back who can be a threat in the pass game. And I mean, we don't even really need to talk about the run ability because he's so talented there. If you guys were picking between Jeremiah Love and Ashton Jeanty, who would you take between the two?
That's tough. I mean, I think Jeanty was so dynamic and so explosive that it's a 51-49 equation for me. So for me to pick one over the other, I think if you asked me tomorrow, I may pick the other guy. Mm-hmm. I really like Ashton Jeanty, to be honest with you, a ton. I'll pick him, but with the caveat that it could be somebody different next week. I feel bad for doing this, Frank, because when I do this, it covers you up at the bottom of the screen. But I thought this was a great comment. I'll show it for a moment and then let you answer Jake's question. Spartan bias, but what happened to Carlos Rogers? Can you expand on that, Ivan? I'm not too familiar.
Rogers is a wide receiver. He was a wide receiver who played for the Lions.
Yeah.
Placed the player.
Go ahead. You got an answer for the Love versus Jeanty conversation?
I like Jeanty. I think Genty's a little bit stronger physically. Just the way that I see them move, I just think Genty's just body, the way he moves on the field. I think he's someone I prefer him slightly to Love. So that would be my answer to that. And I think the Cardinals going Love, I've got kind of 2 points on that. Number one, I'm very pro taking players that are slam dunk picks. If we think that these guys are 3 down, check all the boxes, going to be a good star player, like a lot of players bust out in the first round. As much as we hate to say it, 10, 15%, whatever the real number is. So getting good players is always paramount. If you add a good player in the first round, you've done your job. I try to really make it easier on GMs so that they could pick the best player. Now, the other element here, and I was talking to somebody else about this earlier today also, is the financial element. This team might be struggling to sell season tickets, might be struggling to sell some tickets.
That's a good point.
This guy, Jeremiah Love, looks like a butts and seats kind of player. That's a factor with GMs and ownership, always.
Yep. That is a good point.
So I'm not particularly anti the pick just because he seems to be one of those slam dunk players. Like I don't have him at the Saquon Barkley level. But if they feel that he really is going to be their 3-down back, checks all their boxes, then I think they gained a very useful player. And that's what I hope for as a GM. I really try to focus on the risk here. I don't want to risk getting somebody who isn't the best player on my board. I need to make sure with the number 4 pick I hit. If that's how they feel about him, I can live with that.
I wanted to hit 2 of these comments. I thought this was interesting.
Whoa.
They're both related to Peter Woods, 2025 film. Being bad. It certainly wasn't like 2024, but that applied to Avion Terrell in some ways and also applied to TJ Parker. 2 people, Matt Murray and Potato Prophet, both talked about Woods' production in 2025 being different. I liked him at times watching the film, but then there was other times where I did not. So it's rough for me to see the Ravens possibly trading back 32 to pick Peter Woods. I'm not sure where I am with that, but we'll see.
I mean, I would, if he's falling into the 30s, 40s, I think you think about it. This is where my GM cap comes on. At a D tackle is not a premium position, but it's pretty damn close in my opinion. If you can find a guy who can be effective against the run and the pass, having that 5th-year option is huge.
Would it be different? Would it be different for you? Because I think it would for me if it was high-level offensive lineman at 14 and Peter Woods at 32 versus Sadiq at 14 and high-level offensive line. Excuse me, Sadiq at 14 and Peter Woods at 32, and we no longer have pick 45, which means how do we address the offensive line? Do you see what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
Maybe I misspoke.
I'd go O-line and trade up. Like if your options are Vega or whoever at 14 and then trade up 45 and whatever else to get 32. Yeah, I've got a Peter Woods bias. So, wow, Carnell Tate.
So, yeah, this is one. Carnell Tate, not surprising either to me. The Titans, everybody was mocking love to them, but I actually thought the Titans might go O-line or receiver. Just because they might want to really shore that up. Because if you have a positional bias against running backs going early, which in my opinion is a valid bias, I don't think it's an invalid position. I really don't. I understand that point of view. If you feel that way, Carnell Tate, I like Carnell Tate. He reminds me of Plaxico Burress. I made that comparison today. I see a lot of Plaxico Burress in his game. We played him twice a year for a long time. You do not want to see him. So I like this. I think he's going to fit very well with Cam Ward. So I like this pick a lot.
Yeah, Cam Ward finds ways to get the ball to playmakers. I watched him last year battle against the Seattle Seahawks down there in Tennessee and really give them fits in the second half, especially the fourth quarter. So I'm really interested to see what Cam Ward does this year. I think he'll improve. It's kind of crazy. I guess now the Giants are choosing between Reese and Styles. Is that what this comes down to?
I
had read that they were looking to potentially trade down if somebody wanted to move up. I don't know if that was with pick 5 or pick 10, but could see somebody try and move up here and snag Reese or something. But Coach, can you click on Tate's profile real quick?
Absolutely.
See who our player comp was.
Good reminder.
T. Higgins. Yeah. Higgins is definitely a bigger body. Tate's a little more slim, a little shorter, but similar playing styles. Like they're not burners, but they do have good play speed, ability to their explosiveness is great. Really smooth route runners, really solid hands, ability to make catches in traffic, play above the rim, go up and catch the ball. So Tate was my number 5 overall player and number 1 receiver. So this fits right in with where I thought he was going to go in this range, 4 to 6.
I was trying to recall if it was his play. It's this one, this Tampa catch against a Tampa 2. Like he's very smooth. The whole T. Higgins thing, Plaxico Burress, I'm comfortable with as well. Maybe Plaxico's a little bit longer. I think Carnell Tate plays a little bigger than the 6'2", just above 6'2". So he looks like a big receiver to me. I'm not against this pick for them at all. I mean, Tennessee's got a stockpile talent, for real.
Ian Rappaport just tweeted, Browns and Chiefs are in deep talks about a trade. Chiefs would move up from 9 to 6, and the Giants pick is in.
Who do we
Harbaugh's
think?
gonna love this one.
I was about to say, who do we think is you think they're after? The Chiefs are after Reese.
I think Bain.
Yeah, that's what I think.
I think they like Bain. He has like a similar playing style to the type of DNs that they have. Like Karlaftis is more of a power, speed to power guy.
Bain,
I don't know.
Karlaftis, and Chris Jones together. That's a pretty dynamic defensive line.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Sounds like a nightmare, in my opinion, from a Ravens perspective, someone who'd have to deal with them potentially. All right, so we do have a trade.
Chiefs moves up to 6, not 5. At least I'm showing what's refreshing on the board.
Yeah, I looked at Twitter. I'm like a pick ahead, but
So
Giants pick is in.
Wow.
Chiefs are now at 6. Cleveland's at 9.
Shout out to Jen and old Walter in our Ravens Discord for entering that stuff live time and making it easy for myself and Jake and others to just talk about this. So super amazing job, if you ask me, by them in doing that. And wouldn't be happening live time like this if they weren't doing so. So thanks a lot.
Oh yeah, thanks guys. I didn't even know that was happening behind the hood. That's really great.
Yeah, I mean, Jen was the one. She was the impetus for the website, in my opinion. I would have tried to lift it off the ground and failed miserably. She got it off the ground quickly, and then got the car started, and I started driving it. But she was the one, I think, that helped create it. So Frank, before go ahead.
I was gonna say, Matt had a question here, but we were kind of dancing around it. Who do the Giants take here? Reese, Styles, or Downs? I think there's a chance Downs could slip to 10.
Right. So who do they think will not be there at 10? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's between Styles and Reese. And I read something earlier that the Giants weren't, I don't want to say interested, but weren't really considering Styles at 5. So I would, just based on what I've read, I would go Reese. But can't go wrong with any of those guys.
I've heard Reese and Downs. Mainly Downs has been mocked to the Giants, but it's not from any insider source. It's just what I've seen.
It makes sense too, because look what Harbaugh's had with Hamilton, and just having him be that safety nickel, utility piece, the chess piece on the defensive side.
I love Downs' game,
sense.
and Downs is one of those guys. When I watch him play football, I believe in him, and what I mean is, I see evidence that tells you he'll make plays moving forward because of how instinctive and how reactive he is, and multifaceted. I don't have as much concerns about him covering down the field as other people do. I think he was asked to come forward at Ohio State, and he did so very well. So why would they change what they were doing with him? Very multiple and extremely intelligent. NFL bloodlines, a player that's a lot of fun to watch. If he goes to the Giants, it'll be difficult for me because – I'm not going to make any bones about it. I'm not necessarily rooting for John Harbaugh after the way that the last 2 or 3 years worked out in Baltimore. It's difficult for me to sit here and say, hey, I wish you well, John. I hope you continue being the guy that you've been here in Baltimore recently. So I'll be rooting for Downs, but not necessarily Harbaugh.
Coach, you had a question for me? You want to put that out?
Yeah. So do you think there'll be a change in philosophy? Like, I don't know that it is even a change in philosophy to talk about getting 2 first-round picks, because we've done this twice before. Do you think it would be, because you had talked about it earlier, the smoke that's out there about trading back in at 32 with the Seahawks. Do you think that is a change in philosophy? And that, do you think it's actually something that's realistic?
So I think that the main thing we look at here is trying to trade with the NFC teams in the 20s. We tend to not trade, I don't think we trade as often with the AFC teams. So I think that there's a few NFC teams in that 20 to 32 range where if we have a player that we feel we have a difference of opinion on, that we think he's a lot better or the potential is there. And for me, that guy is Falk, as I've already mentioned. Maybe for Jake, it's Woods, and maybe for Coach, it's somebody else. If we feel that a player like that, who we have a better perception of than other teams, and we think that this is the spot, I think we're going to go for it. It's not every day that you wake up and the trade is Hollywood Brown. Like the Hollywood Brown for a first-round pick, that was a unanimous slam dunk. We said on draft night, we all love that trade. I still remember that that very vividly. That we were like, oh my God, is that really the trade? Like, did we really just pull this off? So to me, I think it's about, once again, that difference of opinion. And if there is that difference of opinion, maybe there is an exchange made. And I think that a lot of times when I think about philosophy, we only see the things that do happen. We don't get privy to all the conversations that happen in the background. And to me, I've seen enough evidence from DaCosta moving around the board in different areas that he's no stranger to moving around the board. Right. He's not somebody that always stays pat. So I do think that the impetus is going to be a player with that difference of opinion. To me, that's where it strikes.
I remember I saw the video last night of an interview with DaCosta talking about the year that they drafted Jimmy Smith and they had a chance to move down. I think it was like 2 or 3 spots and pick up a 4th round pick. And then I guess the trade didn't process or whatever happened. And DaCosta was pissed and like started throwing things. And he said he tore his Achilles like a couple weeks before and he broke his crutch on the desk. So I'm pretty confident if DaCosta has an opportunity to move down a couple spots and still get the guy he wants, he's gonna do it. Yeah. And yeah, in that like teens, early 20s range, I could see him pulling the trigger for sure. Arvell Reese, number 5. There we go.
So, don't think they expected him to be there.
I don't think so either. I think this is just a best players available situation. But I always thought the edge to Giants edge mock pick was always confusing because they have Abdul Carter, Thibodeau, and Brian Burns there already. So I'm guessing they're going to play him inside.
Yep. Like who somebody's knows? Got a skull and crossbones on their jersey. Somebody could be on the move.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My bet, Thibodeau or Burns. They're both Burns on the big contract. They're a little too far away from competing probably at this point. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. You know what? I'm not going to say that. The Giants have some players. But it looks like one of those guys might even be gone by the end of the night.
Frank, let me hit you with one more question. All right. Sure. And then since you're going to watch the whole thing, I was wondering if maybe be interested in joining back in later, like I said earlier. Do you think the Ravens, do you agree with all the people who say the Ravens' biggest need is offensive line, that they have to address it at 14? And that lets the rest of the board flow well, properly? Or do you think it's a BPA situation, which oversimplifies it a little bit, but basically if there's somebody there that you can't resist, you take them and then you push your offensive line needs back a little bit further.
So this is definitely the question that's pretty much been at the crux of everybody's conversations of this draft. So appreciate you throwing this one at me. I have a pretty good response. One of the things that Ken did, he had a show about the salary cap by position for Super Bowl teams. And interior line was one of the lowest places. It's just the size and body shape. There's a lot of people. There's room to do it. And I think that that's what they're struggling with right now. The Ravens know that from a draft perspective, you could fill the guard position later in the draft. And that is making it difficult for them to say, hey, we're just going to commit to fixing this position in the first round. So the way I see it, I think the draft might actually fall nicer if they don't take the offensive lineman, because then they don't have a situation where they have to keep 2 of them if they like some of the mid or late round guys. I believe, and this is just common sense, they asked Ledford, can we get 3 or 4 names outside of the first round guys? Can we have 3 or 4 names that you believe can be good pros? And Ledford gave him those names. And there's really 2 answers to that. Either there weren't those names, in which case they're like, okay, we probably need to go get a guard. Or he had those names and they're going to say, okay, we're probably going to go best player available, or maybe they specifically like a player. Maybe they love Delane if he's still there. Maybe they love Sadiq. Maybe they even feel that Fano is the best player if Fano gets there. Fano looks really good. I watched some of his tape today. I really like it. So it might just be that both of those sync up. But the thing that I think the Ravens are struggling with is very, very simply that guard is a position you can fill in the second round or the third round. And that's why they're having some. That's why there is some. It's twisting their arm a little bit to take one in the first round. So that's where I think we sit right now. And honestly, like I said, my philosophy is, I said with the Jeremiah Love pick, I'm going to say it again. I just want them to draft a good player. They don't miss. Right. You can always do something with a good player. Always. You can always find room for a good linebacker, a good safety, a good corner. Good players will find the field, and there's many different avenues to pick up players, especially guards. So that's how I I feel about it. I won't be upset. They pick a guard, they think he's a great player, fabulous. But I would say for Ravens fans, if they don't draft a guard, don't be particularly upset. We're dealing with a front office that knows how to weigh these positions, in my opinion. Maybe they failed with some of the developmental stuff with Hallet. That's definitely a criticism. But to me, they understand how to weigh the positions and put this team in the right path to go get a Super Bowl. And if that means a guard, great. If not, not. So I would just don't be married to the fact that they have to take an O-line here.
Yeah.
Just because of the way the cap situation works.
At some point, we're going to build a better offensive line. At some point, we just hope it's sooner, rather than later, so we don't waste this Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry combo that we've got. So probably outside the Ravens fan base is like, waste it? What do you mean? You got what should have been an MVP season for Lamar Jackson in 2024, and you got Derrick Henry, 3,500 rushing yards and I think 32 touchdowns over the course of 2 seasons. We won a championship. Wow, what a great pick for the Chiefs.
Oh, they got Delane. That's who I predicted they'd take. Amazing.
That's awesome.
Okay, that's what I thought. Replace McDuffie. Delane was my number 1 corner. Fabulous player.
Archbishop Spalding guy. Jake knows him really well. Frank, once the Ravens pick, can I bring you back in?
100%.
Because I've got a Seahawks, Ravens, and then Lions guy to get in here here in the next probably hour and a half. This is going to go faster than I thought.
It's flying by right now.
Coach, you can hit me up on Discord, and I'll happily jump back.
100%, man.
Thanks for the invite, guys. Jake,
Frank,
Coach,
thanks, man.
Thanks,
all
Frank.
the best.
Appreciate it,
We
man.
make the right pick, man. Just pray for the right pick.
Yep.
All right, guys. Bye.
All right, Frank. Thanks a lot, man.
Sign off.
I got I didn't know that it was going to move this quick.
Neither did I.
I'm way behind on the comments. So, man, I mean, so many good comments. This one
Run
was
through some real
great.
quick.
Haddon Smith, if we trade back into the first round, wow, 26. Haddon, from a Ravens perspective, I didn't want to trade back behind the Steelers, but that's, probably looks like that's where you'd end up, right? 23 Eagles, 24 Browns, probably out. But a ton of options there. What do you think, Jake?
You would have to, dip into your 2027 draft capital, which if we look at next year's draft, it's going to be a really good one. So I don't know if I'd be comfortable doing that. I could see a move into the 30s potentially, but into the mid 20s, especially with all these teams that there's going to be run on tackles that goes here. San Francisco, Philly, the Steelers could go tackle with the question marks with Jones.
Right.
There's the Chiefs war room.
Hey, Derek.
Hello.
Hey, man, thanks for joining in, first of all.
1 second, just trying to get my audio set up here.
I hear you loud and clear. Hopefully you got us. Really, really far behind on the comments. I don't want to cover up Derek there at the bottom, but I want to shout out Modern Gunslinger for giving us a super chat, $20. Really cool. Again,
Appreciate
I didn't necessarily anticipate those things happening this evening. So it's really happening fast here. A lot of fun. So hopefully we can, entertain you. And I want to thank you for that, personally, by putting you up there. I didn't want to cover up Derek there at the bottom. Can you hear us now, Derek? Seems like he's got some issues with the audio, maybe.
Real quick, Potato Prophet just posted a comment. The Chiefs moved up in front of Washington because I believe Washington really, really liked Delane, even with Styles on the board still.
Right.
I would imagine that's who they go with here now that Delane's gone, but It would have been a cool fit for Washington had Delane gone there. Local kid gets to stay home, and it fills a need for him too. So I think the Chiefs they didn't want to risk it. So
Right.
got to jump ahead and take your guy while you can. Plus, they have pick 29, so they had extra draft capital. You can trade back from 29 and pick up another third pretty easily.
Right. Interesting point. I mean, I think the reality is that these teams are just doing the math when they've got the contracts of Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Jared Goff. These teams that have these contracts, they're going to have to recycle those guys out every 4 or 5 years. Would you agree, Jake?
Yeah, it's a finance thing, being able to fit guys under the cap. I mean, look what McDuffie just got. You got a market-setting deal. And when you're already paying Chris Jones, you're still paying Travis Kelce. Mahomes is I guess he's got to redo his deal here soon or something. You can't be paying too many guys top of the market contracts. So just getting younger and getting cheaper is a huge factor.
Derek, how's it going, man? You got us now?
Yeah, totally got you. Sorry about that. Something wrong with the StreamYard settings, but everything's good to go. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, no, thank you for joining. Like, you got the best audio sounding out of any of us, myself included. So when we're done tonight, you tell me what you're using there. It's probably a Mac is my guess.
No, it's probably some Walmart knockoff brand that, it's just as good or better than anything else.
Well, thanks for joining in. Thanks for the stuff that you gave us for DraftSignal.pro. I hope it was fun for you. Did you enjoy it, first of all?
Yeah, thanks for including me and giving me an opportunity to join you guys. And shout out to Jen if she's listening. Super
100%.
Talented. What a cool project to be a part of. And I love just the collaboration and to see it all come together. And we got another pick.
Yeah, she's actually the one inputting the names on the list here behind the scenes. So
that's what I heard. Yeah, that's awesome.
Pretty much the lady behind the curtain, to use the Wizard of Oz analogy. I had a whole list of questions to ask you as a Seahawks fan. We're probably not going to hit all of them because this is moving super quick.
I love this. This is amazing. Yeah.
So has it worn off yet that you guys are Super Bowl champs?
Not even a little bit. Man, it's still breaking in. If I'm being real, I don't think it's going to wear off until somebody else wins it. And hopefully we just win it again so it doesn't have to wear off.
Definitely going to have a chance to, even though I know people talk about the draft being weaker than others. I'm not necessarily going to co-sign that, especially where Seattle's picking 32, 64, and 96. I actually think they're acutely positioned to address the specific needs that they have. I'll briefly show that up on the screen. I put corner at the top, and I know that other people have different concerns. Where are you as far? Forgive me if I did not provide this. Where are you as far as what you think? Maybe not the biggest need, but let's say the biggest two.
Yeah, I think corner is definitely there. We've got running back. As you know, Kenneth Walker III signed with Kansas City, and that's a sneaky need. But I don't think we have any huge needs. Of course, you can look at any roster year to year, and it's going to change. And then you have expiring contracts. JSN was on his rookie deal last year. Now we just re-signed him. He's now the highest paid wide receiver for 5 minutes or until the next person is signed. Who knows what's going to happen with Puka. I'd say running back. Corner's definitely there. I do love the depth for corner in this draft. So
100%.
Yeah, I think you could maybe look other places. Offensive guard. I know that's a need for you guys in Baltimore as well. So I'd say that. And you got to keep your roster young and cheaper in order to pay those bigger contracts. So just see who falls, and like the Ravens teach us every year, benefit from all the other craziness.
Derek, I had a quick question. You brought up guard, and I don't watch a ton of Seattle. I root for him a little bit just because of the Mike McDonald connection. But
Sure.
I've seen a lot of clips online of Anthony Bradford, the guard, and they're like just all of his bad plays. Is he as bad as I think he is, or because we just dealt with a similar situation with Falele for the past 3 years or so?
Yeah. I don't know. And similar to you, I haven't watched a ton of Falele. Bradford's, he has high highs and low lows. You'll see him pancake 2 guys on one play, and he's like the strongest guy on the team. But at the same time, his lows are pretty low, and it looks bad. It really can look bad. So if you string all of his worst plays together, it's going to look bad. But if you strung his best plays, it would look pretty decent as well.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, he's in the last year of his rookie deal.
Right.
We're not going to re-sign him, or if we did, it would be at a very small contract. And you guys, Falele walked. He went somewhere else this year, didn't he?
Followed
Giants.
Harbaugh. Yep.
He kind of went somewhere else. He just went with John Harbaugh.
Yeah.
He went to the new, Baltimore East.
Wow.
I guess, like I said, I had 4 other questions lined up. The one that I really am interested in, I think I have my own perspective, but look, I think John Schneider did the best job of any GM at all in 2025. The draft, I wrote these guys down, but Zabel, Amanwari, Arroyo, who I know, he was gone for a while because of the injuries, but he played well at times.
Yeah.
Horton had a big impact, 5 or 6 touchdowns, right? Riley Mills, we saw the potential with that Super Bowl sack. Oots, the fullback, maybe phased out a little bit as the season went on, but he played a role early. And then the free agent signings, Cup and Lawrence, which he got some criticism for from short-sighted people. And then the trade for Shaheed, masterful, in my opinion. Do you think he needs to be as masterful here, in 2026, or just kind of stand pat because 2025 was so freaking good? Does that question make sense?
Yeah, absolutely, Coach. I think it does, and I don't know if masterful is. We only have 4 picks this year with because we traded I think it was a 5 and a 6 or a 4, or no, it was a 4 and a 5 for Shaheed. So it feels like the cupboard's bare as far as draft picks go. He actually Schneider came out on local radio, and he just said it. He just said what everybody was thinking. He said, yes, we're trying to trade down. So if you want to move up, please come and see us. So he said the quiet part out loud. We all know it. We were trying to get more picks. And, I think what's really fascinating is, he was here with Pete Carroll for so long, and they had some up and down years with drafting. And some of the things that have come out since Pete Carroll left was a lot of the crazy, hey, let's take a big risk, was tied to Pete Carroll. And, we didn't see behind closed doors, but, now that we're seeing some of the fruit of what John Schneider is doing with Mike McDonald's input, it's so crazy to see. Who would have thought, we'd be sitting here 2 years later, with Mike McDonald in Seattle and now Harbaugh out of Baltimore.
We would have. I don't know that we would have, but I think that, a sizable portion of Ravens fan base, after witnessing what he did in 2023, was ready, for some ascension of him. So we've been a long time since this last pick. Am I wrong, or did I just totally mentally miss the Styles pick?
That one came and went. It's been a pretty long commercial break.
Yeah.
Saints are on the board here though at 8.
I think, Derek, to your point, maybe people didn't see it coming with Seattle, but I felt like in 2024, the offensive line, and even the scheme / play calling was so detrimental that it made 2025 look all the more surprising to many people.
Well said.
But the scheme that Kubiak used safeguarded some of the issues, relative weaknesses, I'll call it, at right guard and even center. Although I like Sundell, for a lot of things he does. I think Kubiak did a great job with his scheme of protecting those guys in a lot of ways, and they're going to continue with the same scheme moving forward, I'm sure.
Yeah, I agree. And the offensive line coach, Jordan Tyson, offensive line coach is still there, which we're hoping for some continuity.
100%. I'd like to see, Baltimore win the AFC, and Detroit and Seattle have to battle it out for the NFC, and then the best team win. But I've been waiting for some type of matchup like that since 2023. We were close that year. Detroit lost to San Francisco in San Francisco, and the Ravens, of course, lost at home to the dreaded Chiefs. Derek, we're gonna be on here pretty much all night. In about probably 5 minutes, I'm gonna have another guest coming on. That's the idea, is to rotate through as many people. If you wanted to come back on at the end, you're more than welcome to message me in the Discord. I'll have Josh Height from Twitter. He'll be another Seahawks guy who's going to come on. He contributed to the website as well.
I'm excited to watch and listen. Thanks for having me on, and look forward to staying connected and watching the draft, man. Nothing better,
Coach.
Derek, if you had a choice of picking at 32 or trading back and recouping, maybe an extra additional pick in this draft, which would you want?
Yeah, no second thoughts. Trade back, get more picks. The values, you can get value, and you get more lottery picks, right? We're taking shots at the dartboard. I think that's what we need is more of that, especially in this draft where, really thinking through and being on point with your picks it could make or break a player or a draft.
Are you? I'm catching you off guard here, and you can send me a nasty message in the Discord because I didn't ask you the questions I had set up. The most interesting thing I have seen is Cassius Howell, the pass rush guy, in a trade back scenario. Because there is no Cassius Howell on the Seahawks roster. There's guys that get to the quarterback with power and stunts, and they're very intelligent, but there's no one with that speed rush type element. And I'm interested in what McDonald would do there. Last question. Would you be interested in that at all with Cassius Howell or no?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I think if he's there, there's not very many other players I would take ahead of him for what we need. He had a great 30 visit up here. Obviously, there's some measurable concerns, with his arm length. What is his upside? He's not the most athletic guy. He may have already achieved, his ceiling or close to it. Some are saying. I don't know if any of that's true, but he's a gamer, and at 32, you need somebody like that, and inject some life and some speed and motor into our defensive ends. That's the thing that really hurt us against the Rams. Like you said, you talked about lamenting the Chiefs. That's I'd love to play Detroit. I don't want to play the Rams every time. It's just those games get too stressful.
They're great games, and watching them now, knowing who wins, it provides you the ability to enjoy even some of the things the Rams did. But I'm in the same boat as you, rooting against them every time. Well,
quick question in the chat, Lions question. Oh wait, no, yeah, Lions question. Detroit picks defense first. What position? Corner, safety? That's a good question. I'll defer to you.
Let me give me 1 second.
Yeah,
Derek,
you're good.
I've only got so many spots here, Derek. Can I jump you off here and get my buddy EA in? I think I can only handle 4 on the free version here. So thank you for joining in. I'm sorry that it was abbreviated on your end. I'm sure it probably went by quick. This is going by super fast. We're an hour and 15 in. I can't believe it.
Yeah, that's nuts. No, thanks for having me, Coach. I'm a huge fan. You're the GOAT. Appreciate all that you do, and I'm just going to sit back and watch and enjoy. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it, Derek.
Okay, take care.
Appreciate the time, Derek.
EA is going to join in here, and then I think Karuga. You were right in the beginning, Jake. This is moving by super quick.
You know what? And I think the networks are struggling to realize how fast this is going because these picks are flying in on Twitter. I'm trying not to look, but I forgot Derek was Seattle, not Detroit. But
Yeah, that's all right. Great guy, man. He's in our Seahawks Discord. Wimrick is his name, and just a great dude. It's just an awesome group. It's very similar to the Ravens Discord. It's very business-like, you know what I mean, with occasional hilarity.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one you were talking about, right? That comment.
I still think there's going to be a tackle that's there that they like. If they go defense, though, is Jermod McCoy's medicals? Do they check out for you? If so, that's probably a good pick for the Lions there at 17. Let's see. Do they want to bolster, like you were talking about earlier, their defensive line?
Yeah.
Add another, a Batman to Aiden Hutchinson's defensive line. Browns go Fano here. So
a couple of things first of all, what did Cleveland get from Kansas City for moving back from 6 to 9?
They picked up 72 and a 5th round pick. Sorry, that was what you were asking, right?
Wow. I mean, I think Cleveland is setting themselves up, just like last year, to really have a nice draft.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Unfortunately.
Yep.
As far as the Detroit thing, I mean, corner, they have DJ Reed. Terrion Arnold will be in his 3rd season. And there was some good film last year of Terrion Arnold, certainly like 2.5, maybe 3 games. And then he went down with an injury. I think he had a pec. I think it was a pec issue. People in the comment section can correct me. And it appeared to me as if he was actually trying to come back and play through it to some extent, and that got shut down or whatever. So corner could be it. I don't think that's where they go at 17, and nor do I think it's safety. For me, it would be the best pass rushing defensive end that I can find at 17. The premise of Ozymandias, however you pronounce it, is if they go defense first, which one would it be? I would say neither. I would say pass rushing defensive end if they think there's requisite talent there.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, look at that. Looks like my dad figured out how to use YouTube. The one above that one, but we'll hit Jax real quick. What trade-up situation do you think would be acceptable at this point? It depends if you like if they like a tackle and they want to get ahead of other teams that are in that range that are going to go offensive line. I don't think they'll move up for an edge rusher or anything like that. Would you move up 3, 4, 5 spots to go get the tackle that your team really likes? That's the only scenario I could see them moving up for.
So the next tackle off the board, I guess, here is Freeling, right?
Freeling, yeah, I guess so. Let me see. Got my board here.
As far as Jack's question, a trade back or trade up, excuse me. I don't think so, Jack. In my opinion, that's not where I would see it. But I recognize people have different opinion. Another trade here, huh?
Oh, they just swap picks?
Is that what it looks like? Miami and
you want to hit Bobby Hallet? That's my dad's account, I guess.
Yeah. Nice.
The Ravens take Bain from Miami if he fell to them, asking from number 1 Ravens bar, AOG. Tell the people at OG Adams I said hi. If Bain's there, I take him in a heartbeat. I'm sprinting up to the podium. I'm running anybody over that's in my way. I'm 100% taking Bain.
Agreed.
Yeah, he's just too talented. I got him number 4 on my board, but he's just the production was so good this past year. Kind of complements Mike Green pretty well too, if you're kind of projecting it into the future. But he's a top 5 talent in this draft, and if he's there at 14, you got to do it.
I think so too. I mean, even though we went with Hendrickson, I don't think there's as much overlap with him and Hendrickson. I think the overlap is probably him and Green. Mm-hmm. But from what I've seen, Green rushes better from the right side of the defense. Unfortunately for him, that's where Hendrickson rushes the best from as well.
Yeah.
Bain, to my knowledge, rushes the best from the left side. of the defense. So that's always a consideration for me, or at least something I want to mention. I think EA is joining in here in a moment. Trying to pull up another comment. I'm not sure, Matt, the board isn't falling great for Baltimore. What do you mean exactly? Because the offensive linemen were off the board, Fano and Maoyoga, or what?
Look at it this way. We're 4 picks away, and there's still Ruben Bain. We won't take Downs. I would assume, but Downs is still on the board. Vega's still on the board. Maybe one like Mekhi Lemon potentially in play. Sadiq's still in play. So there's options there. But, ideally, I don't want to jinx it, but if Bain fell to 14, I'd probably run laps around the city.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Ravens would take him at 14 and then try to figure out other things. Matt, great follow-up answers, so appreciate that.
Right.
Agreed. It'll fix itself. I think the Ravens. I think if Bain's not there at 14, where does he go? Who does take? Let's do it this way. Who does take Ruben Bain between now and then?
I mean, potentially Dallas. They moved up 1 spot, so they clearly want to grab somebody while they can. Could they be going Downs here?
Right.
Those would be my 2, obviously, because they're the 2 top players on the board still, but I feel like they've been looking for an edge and a safety for quite some time.
So just went off the board. Guy that we had possibly ended up with the Ravens. Really good player. Medical concerns, I guess, at this point in time. We don't have that on the site. Mentioned on the site, I should say, because those things have kind of come out in the last, like 3-4 weeks or so?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got a back issue that he's eventually going to need surgery on, I believe, but he can play through it from what I understand.
Yeah. Interesting, that it didn't affect where he went. I mean, he went 10 to the Giants, and they had their own issues with drafting a tackle, Evan Neal, 3 years ago at this point, and it hasn't worked out. So,
yeah,
Giants go edge, hybrid, inside linebacker. Well, they've got all the edges between, Carter, Burns. Something's got to shake down there as far as a trade. I think there's no way you roll into the season with all 4 of those guys.
You could move Reese inside. Yeah, it's a good problem to have, but now it's becoming too good of a problem to have. You can only have so many guys out there.
Right.
Back to the Bain point though, because that kind of sparked a thought I had. You could play Hendrickson, Green, and Bain on the field at the same time, because there are some scouts that have projected Bain to slide inside to like a 4-3 tech type. Would you be sacrificing some in the run game? Yes, but having those 3 guys on the field on pass downs would be unbelievable. But I could see the Giants doing something similar too with the guys they have.
I mean, I think it would give the Ravens, if Bain is there at 14 to take, I think it would give them great options on pass downs. How many times did we see Travis Jones out there last year on 1st and 10, 2nd and 7, and 3rd and 4? It'd be great to have a Bain or a Green or even a Hendrickson off the field on 1st and 2nd down, come in on 3rd down, fresh, ready to play like a bat out of hell for 7-8 seconds. And so I would love that pick if I'm the Ravens or a Ravens fan at 14. I don't have a problem with the whole short arms thing because there's plenty of film of him against good players dominating. Cronover, I think, from Texas A&M was the right tackle that he abused a couple of times. So I would love for Bain to come to Baltimore. That's not where I expected to go at 14 at all.
I would imagine he goes somewhere in the next. Someone's got to trade up for him. I'm kind of trying to speak, do the little reverse psychology here, but it would be unbelievable if he fell to 14.
Yeah, Walter's like double dipping here, or I should say multitasking, entering the names and then giving us trade updates. Probably gave a trade update in the Discord as well. So maybe he just copied and pasted it. But wow, 974 and 148 for 6. The Chiefs really wanted Delane, or they knew that Washington was going to take him.
You know, I knew Washington liked Delane, but if they had the choice between Delane and Styles, I think they would have went Styles. Caleb Downs, yeah. There we go. Good pick for Dallas.
Looks like I got a spelling error there. We'll fix that. Good, interesting comment there by Matt. Reese can play inside linebacker as well as Styles, if not better. Yep. Yeah, those guys are, I think, credit to Matt Patricia. We talked about this before, you and I. Has to be brought up that he pre-installed those guys being able to play inside linebacker. Well, they were inside linebackers, and he put them in position to do both, which just opened up opportunities for them in the NFL. I think that's a great pick for Dallas with Downs, but I'm not a huge Matt Patricia guy. Obviously, he was a Patriots coach, but have to give him credit for what they did with those two guys, preparing them for the NFL.
Yeah, that's a huge pickup for Dallas there. He's gonna, I don't want to say single-handedly change their defense, but he's going to be a impact guy from day one that kind of changes their DB room. Downs, I had number 6 on my board. Let me see if I got some notes. Can you click on his player profile, see who we had?
Yeah, 100%. I on my other monitor, I'm just finishing my Twitter post. I think I told you I had uploaded a bunch of videos. So Buda Baker, I think I put in Eric Berry. Pre-injury or pre-health problems, Eric Berry.
Would Ryan Branch be a good comparison? You probably know a little better than I do, having seen Detroit play. But
yes, the interesting thing there is I just kind of fielded that question from Lions fans like last night. I think it would be unique to get Alabama fans' perspective because I thought Downs was great. His freshman film was great, in my opinion. And then, of course, he left to go to Ohio State. So maybe some of them have different feelings about him after that. I thought the coverage – I would say this. I think that there's more really good coverage film of Branch in college than there is of Downs in college. I'm not saying that Downs can't cover, but he's coming forward so much more. So that would be the difference for me.
Yeah, I thought there's not a ton of deep safety clips out there.
Yeah,
there's a lot more of him, playing up in the box in the nickel. But you watch the athlete on the field move around. He has the ability to cover. I just don't think he was asked to do it as much. We were kind of talking about that a little earlier. But 4 Ohio State guys in the top 11. Hey,
what's up, guys?
Nothing, man. You appear to be in the same location as me, Jake, and Frank.
Yep, look like we're coming from the insane asylum.
Yeah. Well, we signed up for something insane, like 4 hours of draft coverage, and our team is only going to get one of the picks. Yeah, I don't know how we don't end up with Ruben Bain. I mean, I don't know. Maybe my understanding of Miami Dolphins football is nil at this point. But I do know that they've got Chop Robinson. But I think, and they traded away Jalen Phillips last year. I believe the other defensive end / edge defender they had is a free agent, but I could be wrong.
I got to get off Twitter. Oh my gosh. You'll see in a second. It's about to get weird. We have, what are we, 3 picks away now? And who's on the board? Bain, Vega, Sadiq's still available. I guess he's one.
I mean, that would be interesting if they took Sadiq over Bain. Ooh, I'm not sure that I could support that. And
I could not do it.
Would that surprise you guys in general, the tight end?
If Bain goes in these next 2 picks, then I get, if you're sitting there with Ioane and Sadiq, it wouldn't surprise me if they went one way or another. I would prefer them to take Vega over Sadiq, but it wouldn't shock me if they went with Sadiq.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be upset there. I mean, yeah, we're getting Ruben Bain at this point. If they take Sadiq over Ruben Bain, yeah, I'd have a problem.
Hayden Proctor.
Good luck, Miami.
Wow. Oh, Ravens are on the clock right now. I just saw the ticker on the wherever they are, Pittsburgh. This next pick's going to be even crazier. But yeah, Caden Proctor, he struggled really, really bad early on in the year, but his play got much better as the year went along. He has an issue with controlling his weight, from what I've read, and I think Brugler kind of touched on it. But once he gets into his ideal playing weight, he's a much better player. You see the strength, you see the the anchor is a lot better. The movement skills for a guy his size is pretty ridiculous too. So if Miami can keep him in his ideal weight range, you've got a potential badass left tackle for the next 10 years.
You think they start him out at guard? I don't know who do they have at left tackle? Maybe they don't.
I forget his name. I think he was the Houston tackle, or the University of Houston.
Paul?
Yeah, Patrick Paul.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, look at Matt's got a great comment here. My only hesitation in showing it is that it covers up EA. I mean, maybe I do that sometimes when I show the comment. I hope you guys are okay with that.
And don't worry about it.
I mean, great option, right?
Some people swear by Proctor in 24. They say, watch the 24 tape. And I really didn't get around to watching that.
I didn't see that.
I watched a little bit of it during the summer just to kind of get an idea of the player. I don't know if it's just post Daniel Falele disorder or whatever, but when I watch a guy with that build and that size, I just think Falele every time, especially early on in the year where he was struggling, especially that Florida State game, just getting knocked off balance and just not being able to recover and stuff like that. So
it's tough. It's tough to move on from that. I guess to put it another way, he clearly improved throughout the course of 2025. And I would agree with that based on the film. So are we saying the Rams pick is in if Baltimore's on the board?
Rams pick is in, and they're in another commercial.
They usually save that for Baltimore, the commercial break. So.
Yeah.
You know what it is, Jake, or no? The Rams pick?
I do. I can.
You can enter it if you've got the draft ops document open, I guess.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
The Los Angeles Rams are selecting Ty Simpson, quarterback at Alabama.
That was a strange mock. I can't remember who did it. Some national guy mocked him yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
That might have been McShay.
There's been some buzz about him lately. When I watched Simpson early on in the year, I thought that he was a really, really talented quarterback. There's concerns about the amount of games that he's actually started. That's a big thing for quarterback evaluations and stuff. But when he played, I think, Coach, you and I were talking about it in our college chat. When you watched him, he didn't look like a guy who had only started, however many games it was at the time. He looked poised, confident, accurate, good enough arm strength. I think that's a great landing spot for him, being able to sit behind Stafford for a year or two and, learning from him, learning from McVay and being in that style of offense. So this could be a home run selection for them. It's just, it's crazy to see though.
I guess the Rams, the thought process, let's do it this way, is if you're the Rams, when do you want to be at pick 13 again? Never. You don't want to be picking at pick 13. And so you feel like you're not going to get an opportunity to make a pick like this, perhaps. So it's a little off the wall. EA saw a mock that had that pick. So very cool for whoever that national analyst is that had that. They clearly had some inside information, I would say. But I'm a little shocked. I mean, I'm a little shocked that we've got such a great pick. James Ogden said it first maybe 5 weeks ago that there's 4 or 5 guys at 14 that he's going to be super comfortable. We've got Bain, right? Iwane, Sadiq.
Lemon still on the board.
Yeah.
If they want to go wide out. Baines, that's a shock, a bit of a surprise.
Love it. I'm all in on Bain here, but if they go Iwane, I'd be happy. If they go Sadiq, of those 3, I don't think he's the best player available. I just don't.
It's got to be Bain or Iwane, and I can't pass up on Bain here.
I get the feeling last year was anticlimactic with them taking Starks, and that was the mock throughout the process. I wonder if it's the same this year with Iwane.
Right. So
I don't think.
Go ahead,
Sorry,
Ian. Sorry.
Coach.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't think you can get a Reuben Bain in round 2. And
Right.
that's not to say you can get Iwane in round 2, but you could get a Jalen Turner out of Kentucky. I think I have his name right, the guard, in round 3. You can get good guards in round 2. I'm not saying they're as polished up, but I don't think you get a Bain in round 2.
This is a great question. If the Ravens don't take Bain, does he fall to the Lions? So just looking at the board here, if the Ravens take someone else besides Bain, the Jets have already taken David Bailey. So presumably Tampa
could, but yeah, I mean, if the Ravens and Tampa don't take him, he's falling into the Lions' lap.
I mean, if you're the Lions and you have an opportunity for Reuben Bain, I think it improves he's way better than anyone else they've had opposite Aiden Hutchinson at rushing the quarterback, but exceptional against the run. This is a great comment as well, man. Credit the Lions fans here. Better pick for the Lions, Bain or Freeling. Cam, I don't think they can go wrong. I mean, really, Freeling, they're not going to get a tackle in round 2. And so therein lies the rub, right, for Detroit. If you take Bain, then you push back your need at tackle. What a great look into what the draft is like for some of these NFL teams.
I don't know if Bain makes you better from day one. I think Freeling needs a little time to get his, play up to speed at the NFL level. So there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve with him. If you look at it from a broader perspective, like down the line, Freeling has left tackle of the future potential for sure. He's got the ideal measurables, length, size, and everything. So if you're willing to, deal with the ups and downs for 8-10 weeks or whatever it is until he, finally gets his feet underneath of him, then, that would be a great pick. Pairing Bain and what's his name, Aiden Hutchinson would be nasty though.
What a great two great. I feel bad for switching the view, so I'll preface that I'm going to switch the view here again. I don't know if it's a problem for people's eyes to switch it so quickly, but 2 great comments here about this situation. I know the Ravens are a great pick, but the Lions seem to be more competitive with an elite offensive line from Jeffrey Osborne. And then from Jack, between edge and tackle, I would have more faith in Borum than Wanham. Borum being the tackle they signed from the Dolphins. So here we go. Wow, what a crazy turnaround this is going to be. Ravens drafting at 14, and maybe the Ravens pick determines things for the Lions, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Good spot to be in for the Ravens. What was that?
Any chance we trade back?
Not with the options that they have. I think you're sitting there. You've got your 2 guys that are terrific fits in Vega and Bain. So it would have to be a king's ransom.
Here's one way to look at it: is if they do take Sadiq, they really like him. If they take Sadiq, they really like him with a starting guard and a starting caliber defensive end available right now.
Yeah, he's a pass catcher. he's kind of a glorified wideout. Maybe there's not as much in that regard that they feel they can find later. But that would, I actually would be really surprised if we take the tight end first round in this draft. That would surprise me.
Agreed. Great point here by I think it's Matt again. Matt might as well join the show at this point. Proctor and Simpson going before us is perfect. Yeah, I mean that mathematically tracks, because then the Ravens' options are heightened because of those two guys. Players we weren't interested in at all, presumably. Everybody's just waiting.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody gets the pick. Don't pause again. Spoilers. Who cares?
I got it.
It doesn't
Zrebeck
matter.
tweeted it out.
Who is it?
The 14th pick, the Ravens select Vega Ioane.
I mean, can't argue with it.
You can't. Yeah. I think with Bain, I would have taken Bain, but I understand it would have been more of a luxury to take him with Green and Hendrickson already in the fold. And Vega's too talented at guard. He's going to solidify the one guard spot. Great pass blocker. He's a mauler in the run game. He might not be as athletic as some of these elite guards that you see in the league, but he's going to significantly improve the offensive line from day one.
I love it. I mean, I love it. I would have loved rooting for Ruben Bain. I would presume that Bain either goes to the Bucs or the Lions. I hope for the Lions' sake he doesn't go to the Minnesota Vikings at 18. But I love the pick for real. I'm just glad that the Ravens are serious about addressing the offensive line, and they've done it.
I've never known how to take DaCosta. He really talked him up in that Liars luncheon, and I thought that was a bit. I thought that was a bit of a curveball he was trying to throw. It made me put me off the trail that they were going to get him. But sure enough, and he does make the team, not just the offensive line. He makes the team better. I still want the Ravens to go at some point after somebody that they think can play tackle. It makes me think, depending on who they take, they feel that Emory Jones is their swing right tackle.
Wow.
As things stand right now.
Great point. He played tackle at LSU. So
one thing that I noticed, I forget when it might have been in the press conference with Bisciotti back in January or February, whenever that was, but DaCosta spoke very highly of Emory Jones and was very excited about his potential going forward. And I took that as, all right, they're going to pencil him at one of the starting spots, because it sounded like he was ecstatic about, his potential. So, Emory Jones and Vega, John Simpson too. It's interesting, but Vega's definitely your starter day one, and Emory Jones could slide into that swing tackle, like you said.
Yeah, I'm just showing I'm just showing a bunch of comments about the situation, and keep in mind, like the Lions are sitting here waiting on what the Ravens do, because that we're presuming that the Jets. Here's another scenario: maybe someone trades up with the Jets to grab Ruben Bain before the Lions do, if someone correctly interprets that the Lions are going to pivot to it. But Freeling is still on the board at this point, right?
Yes.
What a great situation for Lions fans. I feel like they can't go wrong if Freeling is still there and Bain is as well.
So they just announced the pick on NFL Network.
Yep.
Torque and power, balance, and their player comp is Brandon Scherf. If we can get anything close to a Brandon Scherf in his prime, sign me up, because he was a phenomenal player for those, 8-10 years.
I mean, I think we should all be happy. It's what, I know myself personally, I asked for a serious commitment to the offensive line after 2024, mind you. And we didn't have it then. And now we've signed John Simpson, drafted Emory Jones with the 3rd round pick a year ago. Now we've gone 1st round on guard. I think that, probably one more touch on offensive line in this draft. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, I think they'll go somewhere, center or tackle / guard maybe. Is Ioane going to be at left? Has Simpson ever played right guard? Are they going to move Ioane to right guard? I wonder about that.
I think Simpson's played left guard pretty much the whole time. I think it's all been left guard.
Is Vega was left guard at Penn State, right? Well, he moved around a bit.
Yeah, he did. Left guard generally. We got the film here that's all left guard from 2025. I mean,
yep.
Kind of, I don't know about you guys. I'm kind of just exhaling knowing that there's a pick that's in and that the Ravens are, I feel a little relief, to be honest with you, knowing that we've definitely upgraded the offensive line with a draft pick in the 1st round, a free agent signing, even though I'm not a huge fan of Simpson necessarily. At least we have options there at guard, and to EA's point, which he's the first person that I've heard mention it, that Emory Jones did play tackle in college. So theoretically, if a tackle goes down, he could be the next best guy. Unfortunately for Emory Jones, that might mean that he's not a starting guard from day one.
Mm-hmm. Kind of how they did it with Macari a couple of years ago. They didn't want to start him at guard early on in the year because they wanted a healthy reserve 6th offensive lineman who can play tackle guard. Obviously, eventually moved him in to start, but it's always good to have a quality 6th man depth guy on your bench that you can plug in at multiple positions.
I always felt Emory Jones's greatest strength was his mobility. I wasn't crazy about his tape at tackle. That doesn't mean anything. They can mold him up.
Yeah,
they did it with McCary. They've done it with a lot of guys that have come in and been at least satisfactory.
Sending an invite to a Lions fan who's been in my Lions Discord for a couple of years. A great guy, Josh Slaughter. Going to bring him on here a moment, and he'll be on live to react to the Lions pick, I think, because the Bucs pick is in apparently, right?
Mm-hmm. They're going into commercial again. I had a feeling that there was going to be a ton of commercials with this 8-minute thing.
That's what we talked about, right?
Mm-hmm. So 15. Let's see.
Did you guys see Jeremiah predicted we would trade back in?
Yeah. What did you think about that?
I guess we have to stay on now. Right?
Right. Maybe that was something. Some 4D chess from the NFL filtering it to him to, hey, tweet out so all the Ravens fans stay connected. Maybe of course, the Chiefs have a late round pick still, so that keeps their fan base involved. So they want to keep the viewership high. This is a cool comment. I don't think it happened, obviously. The Lions trading up with the Jets or the Bucs. I guess the idea there would be trying to get in front of someone else who might try to take Ruben Bain. Oh, let's see, Frank joined in again. All right, I'm going to add Josh here to the lineup. And he's Josh, what's up, man? Can you hear us, Josh? Got a little bit of audio. I don't necessarily hear you yet, buddy.
So it looks like Tampa Bay is going with Bain here.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Ruben Bain is headed to Tampa Bay. There it is.
Well, then that makes things easy for the Lions, maybe a little anticlimactic for them.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Josh said no audio. Yeah, I'm not sure, Josh. It looks like it's clean on our end. Unless, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Maybe next time I could grab people behind the scenes and bring them in. So a little bit more professional appearance. Sorry about that, guys. First of all, I was surprised last year when so many different people joined the stream to just comment and talk. And I guess I'm a little surprised again this year. I'm like, surprised people would want to join and talk football with me. But, this thing is moving incredibly fast. I had all these plans of questions I wanted to ask people, and I'm not even getting to half of them.
I mean, we are through officially, on the broadcast side, through 15 picks now, and the draft has been going on for an hour and a half. I think we're on pace for a record time finish here for the draft.
So who's going to be Freeling for the Lions?
I think so, yeah.
Freeling's the top tackle. Maybe Messidor. I don't think they go EB, although Thieneman's interesting, man. He's a guy that, like, the more I watched, the more I liked.
Who's that?
Dylan Thieneman from Oregon, the safety.
Okay.
Josh, you got us, man? Looks like he's plugging in his mic. Sadiq to the Jets is what someone in the chat is saying. Josh, you got audio for us? Yeah, so it looks like you can hear us, but we can't hear you. Interesting. Jets with Sadiq would be, I guess that would fit with what they've done. They went defense with 2.
Yeah, as another playmaker for him. And you know what? With Sadiq, he's a lot better blocker than I expected him to be.
100%.
For his size and, his profile as a player. But good pick. Who they got? Gino's back there now, right?
Yes.
Oof.
Josh, you got us now?
What do you
Sounds
think? Can you hear me?
Yeah, man, we got you. Thanks, Josh.
Oh, awesome.
Man, all good. Thanks for joining in.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I feel blessed to be such hallowed presence.
Was 10 o'clock going to be too late for you?
22. What's that?
Was 10 o'clock going to be too late for you?
Baby kicked me out of the studio, so here we are.
Understood that, man. I got 3 of them. I get it. Well, we're all incarcerated. That's why we all have the same background. So
Does have a prison look to it. When I look at
it. There's the life.
So while you were joining in, Josh, we were discussing, and Jake and EA don't have as much familiarity with the Lions situation as I do, obviously. But for a moment there, you were going to have a choice between Freeling or Ruben Bain. Where would you have been in that discussion?
I think I would have gone Freeling anyways. Bain would have been nice for sure, but I think I would have gone Freeling just because we saw last year how much the Lions offense changed when Jared Goff isn't protected. And I love Jared Goff, but he needs protection, like any other quarterback. So unless your name is Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes. So
does it change the draft thought process here for the Lions since correct me if I'm wrong, but Campbell came out and said that Sewell's going to move to left tackle, correct?
He said that it's a possibility.
Okay.
That Sewell is so good that if they needed to move him, that's something that he could do easily. Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think Bain would have been nice. But I think actually Falk meets more of what they like.
Mm-hmm.
The bigger
size,
body, shutting down the edge.
Body.
Yeah. So it's Marcus Davenport without the injuries, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
So
we'll see. Have the Lions pick here.
Love the Lions pick. Go ahead,
if
Jake.
you're ready. The Lions are going with Clemson tackle Blake Miller.
Interesting. Okay, so that is because, so I don't know how familiar you guys are with the whole grit index thing. So there's a creator on the Lion side of things that does a whole grit index, and it's basically the football character of these guys that they bring in. And so I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised because Blake Miller scored really highly on that grit index.
Yep.
He's in the news as saying, "Man, I really didn't want to miss spring practice even though I was injured." And college players, you want to get out of practice if you can. So him just wanting to be there for his guys, that really resonates with them. So I'm surprised, but unsurprised.
I love the pick. Blake, first of all, on our website, the bulk of the offensive line breakdowns was done by Chris from Chris Just Joking, Ravens Twitter analyst. Fantastic job with offensive line. I hope to feature him a little bit more next year because of how great a job he does with the offensive line. EA did some as well and a couple of other guys. When I watched the Blake Miller film, I was very impressed. I was surprised, in fact. I liked him a lot. I would say for me, right now, I would have Miller ranked a little bit higher than Ahinachor for to play on the field right now. But 2 years from now, it wouldn't surprise me, if Ahinachor were not the better player. So for me, I think this is a great pick for right now. The Lions got a guy who can play. They know what they've got. And I love it. Kind of frees the Lions up, hopefully in round 2, to address edge. I don't think Brad Holmes has any way to not address edge defender in this draft where you've got a glut of guys available from 35 to 55-ish. No excuse now not to address that position, in my opinion, that they've gone after the offensive line. I love this pick. I feel like it's an A+.
Not only are there going to be options later on for the Lions at defensive line, and I think we talked about it in one of our pre-draft shows, specifically for the Lions. If they don't go edge in round 1, there's going to be guys in round 2 and round 3 that are capable of playing early on. They might not be the starter that everybody was hoping for, but you bring in a guy, higher upside guy, maybe not world beater right off the jump, but there's still some free agents out there. Like I know Ravens fans, we all love Jadeveon Clowney. He could be a great option, just a 1 year, stopgap type guy while the second, third round pick develops.
They brought in someone from the, I can't remember his name.
Larry Borum.
Well, they brought in the tackle, but they brought in an edge too.
Oh yeah, DJ Wanham.
Yeah. So I think that that's their vet.
Okay.
That's what they typically like to do. Is they don't throw any guys out there unless it's, I think, Panay, Aiden, not even Saint started the first couple games of his career. So like they even if it's a first round pick, they typically don't even put that guy out there unless he's a game wrecker from day one, right? And so that kind of follows a pattern of what they're thinking is maybe this is a backup for the first couple weeks, and then they bring him on when they feel like he's ready, So
we got Blake Miller on the website for any Lions fans that are watching. Thank you guys for joining in. A couple of things here, just some things to clean up, like behind the scenes, a couple of people from our Ravens Discord are entering these names live time so that it, simulates. I'm sure that people are watching it live anyway, but Blake Miller's on our website listed as the 17th pick, number 1. Number 2, on our website, there's a significant amount of film for any Lions fans who want to go watch it. Part 1 and part 2, I think part 1, I'm not going to click the button. I think it's like 3 minutes and the next one's 4 minutes, but they're cut up into like 8-second segments. So you're literally seeing 180 seconds divided by 8, or let's say divided by 10. You're probably seeing 18 to 20 plays per segment. You get a really good idea, of what Blake Miller is about. Active. I don't think he's super overpowering, in my opinion. I would almost kind of liken him to Rosengarten. I think he's a heavier, taller version of Rosengarten, but similarly athletic on the move. I think it's a great pick, and so I don't know what other people have said about it. If they had taken Ahinachor, I would say the same thing, an A+ pick. Personal favorite for me, offensive line this draft, is Max Ahinachor. But Blake Miller's a guy that begrudgingly I had to say, hey, I missed checking him out early because I watched him late and he thought he was fantastic. Are Lions fans happy with it? Let's do it that way, that are in the comment section. Are you happy with it?
The combine numbers reflect what you saw on tape too. 90th percentile broad jump, 87th vertical jump, 86 40-yard dash, 72 or 72nd percentile 10-yard split. So super quick, super athletic guy, and he's got the measurables too: 75th percentile height, 80 percentile wingspan. So on paper, you look at him and you see a long, good sized tackle who has the athletic traits to back it up. So, and I think I just X'd out of it, but I think he's got like over 800 snaps in 3 straight years. So he's a durable, reliable guy.
Never missed a
long
snap.
time starter.
Yeah. It's a great pick. Addresses their, this was an obvious need. The tackle position, an obvious. Do they need to address the edge defender spot? Yes, of course. Safety, if they can do so. Of course, you got the injury concerns to Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph. 2 great players, not good players, great players who are going through their own, recovery process. They're at different stages. So there's different spots they got to address. And corner would be one that I think they go at in the 4th round. They got 2 4th-round picks, I think 2 5th-round picks, and 2 6th-round picks if memory serves. So I think the Lions are set up here, even though they don't have a 3rd-round pick, to do some damage in this draft.
Am I reading that right at 18? Does that say Caleb Banks?
Yep.
Wow. I mean, I had a
GM
very
is
high
gone,
grade.
but the interesting picks continue.
I know, right? That's why you got to love the draft. Yeah, you have no idea what's going to happen. I had Caleb Banks in my top 15 mid-season. I dropped him into like the 30s, 40s range after the second broken foot, just because guys with his size having those recurring foot injuries is never a good sign.
Yeah.
But they must see something that puts them at ease with that concern. But super talented player, man.
I mean, me personally, like knowing what Brian Flores can do on the defensive side, I think any high-level talent that he has access to, he's going to figure out a way to accentuate what they do. So, I mean, they've got Van Ginkel, they've got Dallas Turner. To my knowledge, they still have Grenard, right?
There's rumors that he's being shipped off to Philadelphia, but for now, he's still in Minnesota.
I mean, I just, I'm rooting for the Lions in every game, unless they play the Ravens, obviously. But I am a huge, I appreciate what Brian Flores gets done. It's a different style of music, maybe. Maybe it's not the same sound as everybody else. A little bit like Tool or something. It's got its own rhythm, and it works. And so, any high-level defensive talent that he gets his hands on, I think he's going to take advantage of.
There's Freeling.
I'm just now watching Blake Miller as we're talking. I hadn't watched him before. Big monster guy. And watching this play where they pull him out to lead block on the edge. And that was, he looks great. He looks great on the move. I like him a lot just in watching these few, as a run blocker in particular. But he's a big, huge dude with long grip strength hands. So yeah, I was really impressed with how he moved, getting out in front. Surprised by that.
Yeah, I wrote down great movement skills, twitchy, good burst, fluid mover in space, able to redirect well. He's good at blocking in the second level, good pass pro slides, pretty good hand usage. Overall has the tape to be the top tackle in a weak class. This was done in November.
Big, broad back guy.
Yep.
Interesting point here. I'm not sure how to go ahead, Josh. Sorry.
No. So how are you guys feeling if you had to say 8 out of 10 as far as, or I'm sorry, on a scale of 1 to 10 in the run game and in the pass game, what would you say?
For Miller?
Fans that are watching. For Miller.
I'd say from a scheme fit, it's a great fit in the pass game and in the run.
Okay.
He's not a guy that's going to be, comparing him to Sewell. Sewell does everything well, and he's a mauler who moves
That's
well.
impossible.
It's impossible to replicate that. But I think you're going to get like a reliable pass protector, and you guys do more of like a zone run type scheme. I think.
Apparently, they're multiple this year. So we'll
Yeah.
see what happens.
Either way, though, I mean, he's going to hold his own in the run.
Yeah.
So I'd say
I
probably
think
a 6
as long
just
as
because
he
he's
can
athletic.
move well,
Yeah.
that's what they're looking for. What do you think, Coach?
I would say from what I haven't seen enough of Miller to try to differentiate pass pro between what I would consider to be like the 7.5 to 9 range. So for me, I can't definitively say as far as pass pro, but what I can say, similar to what EA talked about, pretty aggressive with his hands. I don't think he overwhelms people in the run game, but I think he's very good on zone blocking schemes, in particular on zone plays away from him, which if Penei Sewell moves to left tackle, wouldn't we expect a lot more runs to go to the left side, right? So
Right.
you're talking about runs away from him with Blake Miller. So just off the top of my head, from the limited film that I've seen, which again, the film that I saw was exactly what's on our website. If people click on that link for Blake Miller, and I'll have to credit the person who broke it down, again, it's Chris Just Joking, who's a great Ravens offensive line analyst. In fact, Lions content creators should have him on to talk about Blake Miller because he knows the guy in and out. And so I watched those two pieces of film, part 1 and part 2, and was like, okay, this guy is good enough on run plays and zone stuff. I liked him for the Ravens, even though he's a tackle, and we have 2 tackles with Ronnie Stanley at left tackle and Roger Rosengarten at right tackle. But when I say I liked him is, what I want that guy on my team. So for the run stuff, I can comfortably say 8 to 8.5 out of 10. Pass, I'll give you a ceiling of 9 and a floor of 7.5.
Okay, that's not bad.
Miller was one of
I take that.
as I wrote down, he was one of my favorite tackles I had watched. He was a guy that if the Ravens didn't have Roger Rosengarten already, I probably would have considered him at 14. He'd be right there with Vanga, but he's a really good player. That's a really good pick for the Lions. And I kind of like how they've recreated the offensive line, even though it was devastating to hear the news about the center tried to come back and then the medicals got flagged or something. Yep.
Yeah.
So bringing in Cade Mays, getting a really solid right tackle. They've done a good job.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, Cam, as far as your question, was Miller that much better than Freeling? No. I mean, to be honest with you, from what I saw, I would equate them, in the run game, I would say is where Miller, to me, is a higher echelon than Freeling, in my opinion. I think he moves people a little better. I think Miller is 6'6", 330. You're welcome to check on those measurables, but he's a big guy. He's
Huge. Yeah.
And he
huge.
moves well for a big guy.
Yeah. It's surprising his just lateral inside movement, reacting to inside moves. I think he's good on down blocks, got some good violence. I see again on the same clips, the same collection of clips, him out leading to the left tackle side on that skip, pull, and out. Real square in pass protection. Haven't seen anybody get the edge on him. Real thick, like if you compare him to Rosengarten, way thicker than Rosengarten. I think he's a better prospect, just looking at him here, to me, than Rosengarten was coming out.
So as I share this comment, Trench's man, teams are all in on it. The Eagles draft Mekhi Lemon at 20 after trading up, right?
Yeah, wow. They traded up with the Cowboys too. So they moved down 3. They get 114 and 137 in return. Who went 19? Did anybody see that one yet?
Monroe Freeling to the Carolina Panthers.
Okay.
I moved I only moved us to this view because if I share comments, then Josh gets covered up at the bottom.
Oh,
You know
that's
what I mean?
okay. No one needs to see my face. It's all right.
Blake Miller, by the way, I have his measurables here: 6'6" and 3/4, 317. So he's a little lighter, but it's not a big problem. 34.25 inch arm length, which is some of the best out in this class. It might, be Johanicher's got him beat by 1/4 inch, but whatever. But yeah, great size, great athleticism. It's a really good pick.
Lions made a great pick there. I love it. I love what the Lions and the Ravens both did at the offensive line. To me, we're really setting up here on something that I think EA and I touched on. This has been a while, maybe a month. EA and I touched on, and Jake and I did as well. Look at what's not been taken on the board much here recently. Edge defenders. Reuben Bain went at 15. What's getting ready to happen here, in my opinion, between like the 24 to 34 range, maybe even 40, is a whole bunch of edge defenders get taken. And that just pushes better players down to the Ravens at 45. They may not need to trade up to 32, and better players to the Lions at 50, in my opinion.
See Messidor still there, McDonald, Falk, if you like that, Cassius Howe, Zion Young, to your point. Jermod McCoy still out there.
I heard he might fall a little bit, or not a little bit, a lot of it. Kind of like the Will Johnson situation a couple years ago, where you've got that late medical that gets flagged. You know, there's something about his knee that I had read like half of the teams had flagged. So he might be a guy that drops into the second round, and whoever takes him gets a steal. But you know, you're risking the medical, of course.
First thought I had was, you know, as far as him falling, is the Seattle Seahawks at pick 32.
Mm-hmm.
Great defensive scheme.
That'd be
Mike
ideal.
McDonald puts people in position to succeed, and you know they could slow play him. I guess if there's a concern there. It's just a thought for me. I don't know if any Seahawks fans are watching at all, but I think Gerard McCoy, is a great talent and plays the game the right way. He doesn't take plays off at all. It's unfortunate that there's injury concerns because I think he's a fantastic football player.
Quick little off-topic note here. Vega Ioane is talking to the media right now, and his quote to the media when describing himself: "When I'm on the field, nobody is going to stand in front of me and survive." I love it.
A+.
Oh, I love it. We've been asking for more guys like this for the past couple of years because we're so used to the, you know, Ray Lewis at Reeds of the world back, you know, the 2000s defense, just having that nasty mentality,
Bone crunching
and stuff like that.
I like his mentality. I like the way he plays the game. I think it shows up. Granted, the evaluations on him are that he's a better pass pro guy than a run blocker. I mean, Ioane, right? But I don't think he's that poor of a run blocker that he's not a day one starter and someone that's a massive upgrade over both of our guards the last 2 years. Totally different world that we're in. Karen, comment from a Lions fan. No idea what Brad would pick. I would agree. I was a little worried. I was like, what's Brad Holmes going to do here? You know, it's because he's a little unpredictable. He likes to move around. As far as the draft, I wondered to myself, does he have a little bit of ADHD? Can he not sit still?
You know what I would have liked to see? Like, I think we talked about, someone said this in the group chat earlier, I think, but if Caleb Proctor was available, or Caden Proctor was available at 17, was the bluff real or you know, was it just a bluff to get someone to move up and take him?
I'd heard the Lions really liked him. Obviously, more teams liked him than I originally thought, with him going 12 or 11.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I like Miller more than I like Proctor by a wide margin.
Freeling too for me.
Yeah.
I felt like Proctor had a limited range of, even though he's got great arm length, I felt like he had a limited range area or swath of the field that he could impact.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, like, as soon as there were reports, and then I don't want to bad talk the guy because I've never been in his shoes, right? But as soon as you see the reports about discipline and work ethic and all of that, and then I was watching the Georgia film earlier today, and he's chilling on like a screen or something, and I'm like, dude, that's not what the Lions are about. Like, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, can't do it. But Brad has done weird stuff before, so who knows? But
I'm seeing if
That's what it
Easy
is.
wants to join in here from Woodward Heavyweights and see what he has, because I know that there was a lot of talk for the Lions with Falk and Proctor, two, I guess what you would call physical outliers because of their size, the length of their arms, their wingspan, and stuff like that. It's not like Blake Miller's small, like EA said. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's 6'6" and a pretty big wingspan. So they didn't go far away from gigantic human beings like Falk and Proctor. Just got a guy, I think, who's a little bit more refined and ready.
yeah. Which I
Seems
guess,
like-
what does that say about the guy that they picked up, Borum?
He's a backup, in my opinion, which
Yeah.
is what I thought. That's what I thought from day one. I mean, to be honest with you.
Okay.
A good one.
Good to know.
I mean, a
Yeah.
good tackle to have in the event of injury, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then they still have the third year guy
Gio.
from Canada. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Which I guess this is make or break for him this year.
yeah.
I wonder if it's well, we'll see.
All right. So it looks like Easy's going to be able to step away from his desk. I guess at Woodward Heavyweights and join us. I don't know how that works with 5 people being on the screen. I don't know if it does at all.
You can bounce me if you want.
Yeah, let me check. I need to pay money for StreamYard. I just need to pay and get the paid version. I just didn't want to do it. Did we lock up there? Or did I just
For a
lag
second.
out?
Yeah, something happened.
Sorry, guys. This is a great point here. Steelers fans have to be heated losing Lemon. So I guess perhaps the Eagles traded up in front of them to grab him.
Yep. And the Steelers are going with Maxi Honicher here.
Oh, wow.
Man.
Man.
Hmm.
Man.
That's a
That
good
stinks.
football player.
Yep. They have
Good pick
not
by them.
neglected. They have not neglected their offensive line in terms of the draft over the last couple of years. That's for sure.
I knew it was very unlikely, but I was a big fan of Troy Fautanu a couple years ago. Even though he had what do you have, like the torn ACL late in the year or something like that, but I think he's only going to get better. You get a Notcher there. I think Jones has an injury that they're kind of concerned about, so maybe that's
great
kind of
pick.
reactionary. But yeah, Notcher's got some high ceiling.
Yeah.
I was lagged out for a second. My apologies, guys. Looks like my internet connection reset, so sorry if on the viewer or listener's end it messed up. But it looks like Easy's going to join us here in a minute. So he's from Woodward Heavyweights and does Lions. I mean, Josh, he does Lions content pretty much daily, right?
I've heard about their show. I've heard it's pretty good.
It's different. It's different,
I've seen
man.
it. I've seen a lot of it
I go
when
on.
I'm
I go on
navigating
their-
YouTube to your show.
Look out to Jake and EA. Like those guys' show is like, I love it. I love going on their show. I would do it every week if I could. It's kind of like going back to your college friends, and I call it code switching. Immediately, I'm like, okay, I have to go talk in this code because now I'm talking to college guy mentality. But it's a high energy show and a whole lot of fun. And I think they do Pistons stuff and Lion stuff
Yeah,
as well.
it's like all Detroit. Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel
really
like
good.
I've seen some social media clips from Tigers and Lions and the Pistons as well. So
Yeah, that sport that used to be known as baseball. That sport. Who's the most surprising pick for you guys besides Ty Simpson? And can Caleb Banks be considered a surprising pick when I mean, he was a top 10 talent.
Yeah, I think that would be the easy one. Let me pull up the results here. Yeah, so let's see. Anything really? Caden Proctor, although he'd been picking up some steam early. I think Bane falling was the biggest surprise, in my opinion, so far. Not necessarily, somebody going earlier than expected, but yeah, Bane falling, and then
Proctor's kind of earlier than I would have thought.
yeah.
Proctor was surprising for me. Where's our?
I don't know why it looks like my stream is having a lot of difficulty. So my apologies. I'm trying to share
you're
the draft screen like that. Hopefully it's sharing right now, but it looks like it continues to get dropped. So I'm not sure why. Seems like the last 2 or 3 picks have taken a lot longer to come in. Is that how?
Well, they just did the Steelers pick, so they of course had to bring out 1,000 different people and do the renegade and
Right.
Gosh.
blah 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 blah. Make it all about them.
All right. Looks like Easy's joining in here. Not sure if he's going to show the screen or not. We'll see what this does to the audio. Stand by, guys.
What's
Easy,
up?
can you hear me, man? Can you hear me, man?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for joining in. It's weird. It's a role reversal between us. You joining my show.
Yeah. Yeah, and usually, I'm on camera.
Yeah, you're in your car. Just hopefully you get home safely if you're in Detroit.
Yes, yeah, I'm driving back from the draft party.
Really?
Yeah, I wasn't gonna stay much long. The Lions are done. I think they're done for the night.
Did you like the pick? Did it surprise you? Where are you with it? And then what did the other guys think, that you work with?
A lot of our guys, I mean, at least my guy Spencer was pissed. He was not happy. I don't mind it. I think he's a day one starter, or at least competing for the job with Larry Boehm. I think he's more of a high floor guy than versus like high ceiling or any big expectations like that. But I believe he's only 22. He had 3 years starting experience at the right tackle position. The only thing that ever bothered me is when I watched him against like power rushers, and the only reason why it ever concerned me is like I feel like power is a base trait at the National Football League like level, But I think he's a pretty solid pick. I don't think it's going to blow anybody away. It didn't blow me away, but I don't think it's a bad pick. I should say. I was wishing they'd move up for Ruben Bain though. That's honestly what I was hoping for.
So 10 minutes before they picked Blake Miller, we were all in here. Josh wasn't yet, but myself, Jake Hallet, and EA Edgar Allen, we were all discussing the choice. Are you going to go Freeling or Bain? Or, they obviously went Blake Miller. Where were you 10 minutes mentally? What was your thought process 10 minutes before the pick? It sounds like you were siding with Bain, before he went to Tampa Bay.
Oh yeah. And the crazy part too, dude, is I tried bringing that up like a week or 2 weeks ago after the car accident stuff came out, and everyone was kind of like, "You're out of your mind. There's no way he's gonna fall far enough to even be within striking distance." So I kind of put that like hope and dream to sleep. Plus, that's not the type of guy Brad and those guys draft anyway. So I kind of like died it down. But then today, reports come up like they always do on draft day, and they're like, "Oh yeah, the Lions really like him. Oh, the Lions might be like looking to move up to get him." I got myself excited, but
Yeah.
I mean, deep down I knew better, so it didn't hurt too bad.
I like this pick. I'll be honest with you. My initial reaction was that Blake Miller is one of the guys I watched. I felt like he was balanced. I thought that there was a quality to his run blocking and a quality to his pass block. There's a little bit of an unusual first couple of steps sometimes with a particular deeper pass set. Let's put it that way. But good player across the board, very balanced. He reminds me of Roger Rosengarten, who is the Ravens starting right tackle, except Miller is bigger and I think thicker. I really like the pick. I think it's an A+.
Yeah, I don't understand. A lot of the guys at the watch party were mad. I didn't understand it. It's not a guy you can be mad about. It's he's like solid, as solid as it gets, honestly. Where do you feel about his upside though? Where do you feel that is? Or do you think he's kind of like we got what we got?
I mean, I think you're looking at a long-term starter. To me, I think you're looking at a guy who is more athletic than Taylor Decker. I think you're looking at a guy who maybe isn't as physically strong right now as Taylor Decker was last year, but I think he's better in pass pro. Like right now, I think he's better in pass pro. I think he's more agile than Taylor Decker, and he's really good on run plays away from him. And I mentioned this about 20 minutes ago. You just moved Penei Sewell to left tackle, right, when you drafted Blake Miller, and now you're going to have a shit ton of plays run to the left, to Penei Sewell's side. So I think it fits. I like it. Is he a all-pro player? He could be a perennial guy who is Pro Bowl caliber, but never reaches all-pro status because, let's be honest, how many guys at the tackle position actually get that? I think he could certainly be a top 6, top 8 tackle in the league for 6 or 8 or 10 years, along the same lines as Taylor Decker. Whatever people want to say about Taylor Decker's last 2 or 3 years, he was a really good football player in Detroit. And, so I get it, the connection with Decker. I think this is an upgrade. From 25 to 26, I think it's an upgrade.
I like to hear that.
Looks like Messidor's gone.
How do you feel about you guys taking Ione?
I'll let the other guys answer there. I like the pick a lot.
Yeah, it was the smart move. He's one of the higher floor guys in this draft. Really, really strong pass protector, great size, mauler in the run game. And I've just been reading some of his quotes here from his media availability. He seems like he's got the right mindset. And, we've dealt with such poor offensive line play, especially in the interior for the past couple of years. It was almost like a no-brainer once he was available or still available at 14.
Probably the safest player in
Yeah.
the draft. Definitely one of them where you know what you're going to get. Definitely makes the line better, makes the team better overall. But yeah, he's pretty safe, I would say, as a pick that's going to come in and play well for you.
I don't think he was the best player available. If we're saying as Ravens front office that we're picking BPA at 14, I think we picked for positional and team need more so there. I think Reuben Bain was the best player available.
I agree. I had Bain higher, but I think at some point you have to weigh the best player available versus addressing a need. And if the grades are similar, and I would imagine they are, you go with the guy that is going to help you help address a more significant need. We talked about it a little earlier. I felt like Bain would have been more of a luxury pick, especially with Trey Hendrickson and Mike Green already in the fold, and we have Tavius Robinson as well on third down. So it would have added another really, really good player to a room that's gotten a lot better this offseason. But if you look at the state of the interior offensive line for the Ravens, it's Emory Jones who, kind of had like a quasi red shirt year last year.
Right.
No center currently, and John Simpson, who not many people are too fired up about, but he's better than Voorhees, I guess. But it improves that aspect of the team, and not only is it going to make the pass game better, but he's going to open up holes for Derrick Henry and the running backs too. So
yeah, easy. I mean, for me, I thought it was an A+ pick, Iwane. For real. I mean, we needed a massive upgrade on the offensive line, and we've got one, I think, here. So a great pick.
For what you guys do, that I think he was perfect for what you guys do. Like, and especially with having Lamar and how he, like, I'm sorry, I know it's just trite, but changes the numbers in the run game. Like Derrick Henry is probably doing backflips right now. That's a great pick, I think.
As for him and Bain, I think they were close, but I am more, and I'm a defensive leaning guy, but I am more certain about Iwane. what he's going to be, what he's going to do, than even about Bain. So I'm not so sure, in that regard, that he isn't the best player or wasn't the best player available, just at least as far as I'm thinking about it.
That's fair.
If you look at some of the quotes too from in some of these insider articles, the guys that asked the executives across the league, like who were the surefire, like cleanest players, guys who are going to be Pro Bowlers down the line. It was always Love, Ioane, Caleb Downs. He was always mentioned in those talks. So that, obviously people around the league have the same opinion that most of us do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he's a really good player too. Oh yeah, Malachi Lawrence.
Yeah, the Cowboys.
Here goes the edge, right?
Yep.
Yeah, here we go. It's got to be soon. Yeah.
Here we go.
Messidor, then Lawrence.
Yeah,
that's
Cowboys.
falling.
Go ahead, Easy. You're good. Go ahead.
Oh, you're fine. What were you gonna say?
I mean, Lawrence and then Downs being the Cowboys' 2 picks is pretty amazing. If you ask me, I don't know if I got dropped again or what. My apologies, guys. I don't know if I'm stressing my internet or not. Hopefully on the viewer's end or your end, it doesn't look ugly, but my draft screen, this screen here keeps getting dropped for me. Is it stable for you guys or no?
Yeah, it's been staying strong.
Yep.
I've got the YouTube up too on my other screen. One of 5 screens I have.
It's stronger than Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel's relationship.
Oh, I told you guys the Easy show was a different energy. I love going on your show, man, because it's I don't know if I said this to you guys last time, but it reminds me of like suddenly going and visiting college friends. Like you code switch really quickly, and I go on you guys' show and I'm like, oh, I need to code switch here and talk different. So, but appreciate you coming on, man, especially being as you're in your car trying to navigate getting home. I love the pick that Detroit had, and I love the pick that the Ravens had. Do you think there's any chance Detroit, Brad Holmes, moves back in here near the end? I don't.
I don't think so either. We don't really have the ass. I mean, I guess we have a couple of extra 4th-round picks, but he might try to use that to get back into the 3rd somehow.
It's where the strength of this draft is, in my opinion. The mid second round to mid 4th round, that range, and you've got 2 picks in the 4th. If anything, maybe he tries to move up into the 3rd. I agree.
Yep, that's where I'm at. What about your Ravens?
A story came out today, or projections about them trading back in at 32. I'm not sure that I see that, but if it does happen, I'd be really interested, and I'd be happy with the talent. I mean, we've done that before. Twice before, right, guys? 2 first-round picks.
Mm-hmm. They traded up to get Lamar. The other one that I think you're referring to was when we traded Hollywood Brown and got the Arizona pick.
Yeah.
If it was anybody not named Daniel Jeremiah, I probably wouldn't have thought anything of it. But Jeremiah having the history in Baltimore and still relatively
That's
plugged
fair.
in with those guys, kind of makes me think there might be something to it. But we'll see. It takes 2 to tango, obviously.
He might think there's a Peter. Yeah, I agree with you on that, Jake. It's like it's not just trading up in the end of the 1st round that he's calling or predicting or whatever. It's the player. So that makes me think Daniel's kind of close to the Ravens still, and they might like Peter Woods.
And from what I remember, I think I heard the Ravens did really like Peter Woods, and I'm checking right now, but I think he came on a top 30 visit to Baltimore. So there's something to think about.
He's a young player. I think he's going to turn 21 for the season. But
Peter Woods.
Good draft for the Browns so far, guys, which is not good.
Who'd they get?
Concepcion.
That's a good fit.
Nice.
That's a good fit.
I like him.
They know what they're doing here. They went O-line with one of their picks, and then they went receiver with the other. I guess some people thought they would do it the other way, right? Receiver at 6 and O-line at 24. I like what they've done. I like Todd Monken. I think the Browns are going to be improved, I'll be honest with you.
I think go ahead.
No, you're good. That's your division. You go.
Yeah, I think in terms of like how they approached this, these two picks is I think the drop off from what was it, Maui Noah? They went with it 9, traded back, or Fano, right?
Yeah, Fano.
I think the drop off from Fano to, the tackles available right now is significantly more than the drop off from, say, Lemon to Concepcion. So
Yeah.
I think the way they attacked this was great.
I have no clue what these next 3 teams will do. The Bears, Bills, and 49ers, 0.
Bills might go wide out, right?
Seems like they're always in the wide receiver market.
Does.
Who did the Bears lose this year? I feel like they lost some.
Their
Brisker.
center, right?
And
Brisker,
DJ
their
Moore.
center.
they lost
DJ
Dahlman,
Moore.
yeah.
Yeah, Brisker's a baller.
Tremaine Evans they lost to.
Yeah, so they got definitely have some things to get here.
Really like the Mesidor pick to the Chargers. That one's interesting to me that he's so game ready.
See, I thought they'd sneak in and try to get Jamon McCoy. He's probably going second round though.
That's what I'm thinking too.
I really wonder about the Seahawks, the Seahawks are such an interesting dynamic because they definitely do need a running back. There's no doubt about that. But they're going to draft an outside corner, in my opinion, somewhere. And if McCoy is on the board there at 32,
Oh my!
it makes me wonder how could they walk away from that? Would they walk away from it? I don't know.
I wouldn't.
I like Colton Hood for the Seahawks too.
There was a cool story about Colton Hood. One of his ex-teammates was talking about how I think in his true freshman year, there was a summer workout and there were, 8 or 9 receivers out there. And he was the only corner that showed up early to practice that day. And he took every single rep in that little individual period. And of course he was, gassed by the end of it. But the veterans and the receivers on the team were like, this guy wants it. He's a competitor.
I like Colton Hood a lot. McCoy is interesting because of maybe, quote, a higher ceiling. But I think they're both very good. I don't think Seattle can go wrong, really. I mean, they've already got 2 starting outside corners in Devin Witherspoon and Josh Jobe. They would really be drafting an outside corner for 3rd and 8, for another outside corners.
Avion Terrell is another interesting one. I know he had the hamstring thing this offseason. Combine missed his workout too, but I thought his tape was pretty solid. Chris Johnson's one to watch here too. I think he could go any moment.
Agreed. Easy. What's your
Yes, sir.
What's your level of, I don't want to say concern, but what's your level of motivation to see the Lions go edge defender here at 50 tomorrow? I think it's a no-brainer. I think they've got to, but I thought the same thing last year.
Yeah, that's why it's so tough with Brad. Is like a lot of times you feel like those things are no brainer. Like when they had opportunity to take Jalen Carter, but he's got a different board than a lot of people. But I think the way this class looks, it's probably going to be fairly easy to take that guy there. I mean, it looks like Denny Sutton Kinfall. I'm hearing that people don't like the tape on him. The measurements were there, but the tape wasn't consistent. I'm hoping he's there.
I mean, that's the good thing about the Lions fans. You guys are somewhat predictable in some ways in that, whatever he takes there'll be a lot of Lions fans who are like, okay, well, our board must have just been different. Personally, I'll be honest with you, I'm to the point where I'm like, you have to upgrade this position, in my opinion, as far as 3rd and 8, because I don't know that DJ Wanham and the interior defensive tackles are going to be able to help Aiden Hutchinson at all in those 3rd and 8. I mean, consistently against the best teams are going to be able to help them. I would like to see them upgrade that room significantly tomorrow to help this team win 12, 13 games next year.
Coach, I have a question for you to the 1st round pick. Are you a Monroe Freeling guy over Blake Miller initially? How'd you have that shaped on your board?
I didn't. I mean, I didn't really differentiate between the two. I mean, if you asked me to pick between the two, I would pick Miller. I think Freeling today might be a better pure pass pro guy, but of course he's over on the left side, and Miller's on the opposite side. I think Miller is probably, I would say he's clearly better in run blocking. So to me, I would have taken Miller. I was higher on him. I will say that's a little bit skewed because I did watch more film of Miller than I did of Freeling. So that's my perspective. What about you or Josh, Lions guys? Did you have a choice there, or was it just either or for you?
I mean, for me personally, I felt like Freeling had a higher upside just because he only had that 1 year starting, and then the athleticism scores from the combine were pretty impressive. He has super long arms too, but I feel like Miller's just a safer pick. Like the 3 years starting, I like him in run blocking like a lot, to be honest. In the pass pro, when he faced those power guys, he get leaned back a little bit. But I mean, the same thing was happening to Decker the past couple of years too. So, and he may grow from that. Who knows?
I'd say Miller's good. Freeling had some balance issues too. The other way, like he often went in too hard. So I mean, I think for what was available, I do think overall, like, could we, if this were a different year, different prospects,
Right.
but for what was there and the needs we had, yeah, I think they did a pretty good job with the Miller pick.
100%. That's
And
Ryan
the football
too.
character side of it too, you should, like that's big, and I think they've gotten away from that a little bit in the earlier rounds the past couple of years. Not that we didn't pick high character guys, but this guy is like I was reading his profile earlier. He's basically what they look like, what they look for, from the ground up, a team leader, a captain, So I mean, it makes sense why they went that way.
Yeah. Good point
Feed him
from
into
Jeffrey.
Chicago.
I mean, it makes sense. Like somebody said that the Bears had lost their safeties, Biard and Brisker. I think that was you. In fact, I know Brisker was injured at times, but super talented guy, and Biard had a great year for them. So they're gonna rely on Thieneman. Thieneman's gonna be playing every snap.
Yeah, I like that kid too. He's quick. He's kind of like a faster. I can't actually compare that at all. He's a faster center fielder type guy. I like him. I hate things with the Bears.
Right. It's so hard to see these good players, watch film of them, and then see them go to an enemy team. Like, for example, Max Ahinachor, my personal favorite tackle in the whole class, and then he goes to the Steelers.
Oh wow, I didn't see they got him. That's a good pick for them.
Absolutely.
I'm really excited to see what comes of him. I think he's real raw, and just to be like a first round prospect, a little bit that he's done is kind of mind blowing, honestly.
Really unstable for me, the presentation window. If it's lagging out for you guys, let me know.
I'm driving, so I can't see. It looks beautiful from here.
Liar.
Bills could go edge. 49ers might be looking for a tackle. I don't know who's still available.
Is Caden McDonald still on the board?
Yes. Yes, he is. Cade McDonald's still on the board, to my knowledge, yeah.
Oh, did somebody just trade?
Feels like a Buffalo Bill to me.
Looks like, yeah, trades in the works for between 26 and 28.
Houston just moved up.
What if they get low?
I'm way behind on the comments here. So interesting couple of comments. I'll try to grab a comment about Ioane. the Ohio State game. So I'll have to go back and take a look at that one. I don't necessarily remember that. Not saying it's not valid. I just don't remember it myself. So I'll put that on my list if that makes sense.
He got beat a couple times by a guy who's coming out next year. I can't remember the guy's name. As I recall, it's like on 2 back-to-back plays. He beat him inside. I can't remember the guy's name. He's coming out next year. But
Other D tackle or other D end?
he's an end.
Got it. Bigger, more defensive end type. It's like 90, 94, 95 was the number. Yeah,
think
bigger,
it's
longer,
95,
like
yeah.
6'5". Yeah, 6'5", kind of thin. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I remember those plays. Yeah. Okay. Bo Knows has a real interesting comment about the Ravens receiver room. I mean, he's not wrong for having these concerns. I think we're obviously going to be relying on Flowers and maybe going receiver early tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's a good pick for the Texans, if you ask me.
Who'd they get?
I like that pick.
Wow. He's been getting some first round buzz.
Who was it?
Keelan Rutledge.
Oh, wow.
The Texans had to improve their offensive line, clearly. They had to be serious about it. I mean, there was an imbalance there at the end of the year because of injuries probably, but their defense was – I think their defense was a championship-worthy group. And the offensive line and Stroud, clearly didn't comply. So what happened with pick 28, though?
Buffalo.
That's got to be the Bills, right?
Yeah.
Rutledge is interesting. Houston, he's probably a guard there, but he's been taking a lot of looks at center. I'm pretty sure they need a center and a guard.
Yep.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Kind of like us.
Yep.
How many offensive linemen have been taken so far? I'm not just talking about tackles. How many anybody got a count?
Yeah, I got it right here. I thought I had it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
So we're like 27, 28% of the players taken have been offensive linemen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's between 25 and 33%, right?
And one of the reporters threw out a report saying that they've been hearing potentially, 9, 10 offensive linemen going in the first round, which is an astronomical number. But, now we're seeing it, and we still have a few spots to go. To answer that last question that you had up there, Rutledge over Pregnon. I think Pregnon is 25 going on 26 already. So by the time his contract expires, he's going to be 30 years old. And I think that's a factor that, us as fans don't really consider, but GMs definitely do, because when they're drafting guys in the first round, they want them to be 2 contract, 3 contract type players. And if you're, 30 years old by the time that first contract extension comes around, it's,
Right.
it shortens the lifespan or the play lifespan. I'm a big Pregnon fan now. If I had to choose between him and DeSantis coming up, like in the second round, I'd take Pregnon. But we have our guard, so we're good.
Right now was my number 2 guard for me. I don't know if he'll fall at 50, but I'd love if that happened.
Yeah, for sure. His tape at USC was pretty bad. He took a huge jump forward going from USC to Oregon.
I was like his pop, too, especially on the Lions' offensive line.
Absolutely.
And Rutledge when clearing holes.
Yeah, for sure. He kind of reminds me of like not exactly, not my player comp form, but like how J.C. Latham would have that quick twitch off the snap and just knock people on their ass right away. Like Tyler Booker kind of.
What was the trade details? What was the trade details here for the Texans and Bills?
Let's see. Well, it looks like the Dolphins just traded up and they're going Chris Johnson. Love that. I think Femi said that he knew Chris Johnson's dad or played with him or something.
Went to the same school. Yeah.
That's right. Yep. Really good player.
Buffalo gave up their first and third for Houston's first, second.
Wow.
No, first, third, and I'm not sure which one that is. It's
So it's
28, 69, and 167.
Yeah. So basically moved down to pick swap, second for
But
their third,
they gained what?
168.
20. Yeah, well, Buffalo moved from 91 in the third round to 69.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Agreed. That's a lot. Houston's serious about trying to improve their offensive line. They have to be. I think the Texans are a serious contender. I recognize that people have questions about Stroud, but I don't think there was any chance. Let's say the Ravens, Tyler Luke makes that kick against the Steelers, and we face the Texans at home the next week. I think we get destroyed.
We get our asses kicked.
I think the Houston Texans defense eats us alive. So I think the Texans had to improve their offensive line, and they've shown that they've got a serious commitment to doing that. Whether Keelan Rutledge is the guy or not, who knows, but they went after it here.
To address Matt's comment there about Chris Johnson, he said Chris Johnson's the second best corner in the draft if you're concerned about McCoy's medicals. I had Johnson rated higher than McCoy personally. I did factor in medicals a little bit, but I think the athlete that you're getting with Chris Johnson is just a hair above McCoy. And I think the measurables kind of pretty similar. Competition level, you can factor that in, but I just love the way Chris Johnson moves, man, and he's not afraid to tackle. He might not be great at tackling. I could be mixing it up.
Very intelligent off corner.
Yeah.
Smart, understands how to play the game. I thought Chris Johnson would have been a great fit for the Seattle Seahawks because McDonald played as a field side corner, meaning the boundary side corner, and McDonald's defense is going to play a lot of press man, or at least show press, pre-snap, excuse me. Chris Johnson as a field side corner, I thought would have been fantastic in Seattle. I have no idea about how he'll fit with it's Hallet, right? The head coach of Miami now. Good pick, in my opinion.
Yep. He's going to be he's not a press corner. He's still a little light, but his movement ability is up there with some of the other top corners in this class, if not the best.
So this comment here, life without Jesus forevermore, edge just probably wasn't the massive need over O-line. Bain is a stud. I think was referring to the Ravens passing up on him.
Correct.
And then someone mischaracterized it as the Lions passing up. They didn't get the chance. But to the point, however, the previous 5 picks before Baltimore was 3 offensive linemen: Fano, Mawanoa, and Proctor. So there's a lot of offensive line being taken in that range, and the Ravens chose to go with guard over Bain. I'm happy, even though I'm a huge fan of Bain. As far as the Lions go, they went with a known entity, Blake Miller.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit earlier too, but I think with Hendrickson and Mike Green already in the building, you have Tavius there as your early down run stopper. Adding Bain would have just made that room a little more crowded. I'd say it'd be like a luxury pick, adding another talented guy to an already talented room. Ioane, significantly improves the offensive line, and with Lamar, he's one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the league. You got to keep him protected, especially as he gets older and becomes more of an in the pocket guy. As opposed to, scrambling around.
How do I just frame a comment and keep it up there forever? because that's what this one is for me. Lamar, he's talking about basically the Ravens against the Texans in the playoffs if we had made that kick. Accelerated the regime change and got us the pick to get Vega. Boom.
In hindsight, everything worked out perfectly for us.
I feel like you guys losing the weirdest stuff sometimes, man. Like that one drop, was a touchdown, 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
The tight end dropped a couple years ago. It was right in the breadbasket.
The Buffalo playoff game, yeah. How could
Yes,
anybody
yeah.
forget?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Lee Evans.
Oh, that too.
Oh, no.
Do you know that one easy or no?
No, is that when's that?
Oh, so we're
2011.
Joe Flacco takes us down to beat the Patriots in, correct me if I'm wrong, the final minute of the game, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yep.
And puts the ball in Lee Evans' hands in the end zone. And that puts us up, I think that puts us up by 4, if I remember correct. And then we missed the ensuing field goal. Of course, we go up there the next year and beat their ass in the AFC Championship game. Point being, we could have beaten the Patriots twice in a row, 2 seasons in a row in the AFC Championship game. So it's kind of, I agree with you. We lose in the weirdest ways sometimes.
Wow. Patriots go Caleb Lomu. Is that an indication they're going to kick Will Campbell inside?
That'd be good. That'd be good for them.
That'd be good for both parties, Campbell and
What's the thing?
Patriots.
Fail to guard.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Logan's a tackle.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I thought his pass protection was really, really solid and really polished. He just has a little bit of he can get beat by power, but he's a very fluid, athletic guy.
Yeah. He's come back from injury, too. A lot of people forget in that Super Bowl.
Campbell, yeah.
I think
I'm
the
about to-
Texans,
I appreciate you guys having me on. I think I had out my phone's dying on me.
Understood, man. Understood. Let me know when you want me to come on.
Yes, sir. Once you get home, I'll hop in the chat, or maybe I'll send you a message.
All right, man. Thanks, Easy. Appreciate it.
I'll see you guys. Thank you.
Absolutely, man.
I think the Texans scooped the 49ers. I think that's what they did, moved up ahead of them. I think they were thinking that the 49ers were going to take Rutledge.
Gotcha. And then you think that's why the 49ers, it looks like they traded back. Is that
Bring
right?
it back. Yep.
Got the Chiefs had this 29th pick.
Yeah, I'm scared about this one.
They got their guy in Delane. So my old boss at Maryland now works as a scout for the Chiefs, and we obviously talked a lot. I talked to him last week. We talked a lot about Delane because we're very familiar with him, and
Of course.
he spoke very, very highly of him. So I kind of was reading through the leaves there as a guy that they really liked. So I'm surprised they had to move up in front of Washington. I don't know if you're sitting there at 7 with the Commanders and you had your choice of Delane and Styles. I would imagine. Did you guys go? I would take Styles over Delane.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on what you need, I guess. You're talking about the Chiefs?
No, Washington. I'm just talking about
Oh.
how they moved ahead of Washington to go get Delane.
Sorry, I was
Thinking
responding
that-
to a comment.
No, you're good. You're good. Moving ahead of Washington, thinking that there's a chance that they might take him there at 7. And all of my friends, basically all my friends are Washington fans, so I know way too much about Washington than I really should. And their defense has holes all over the place. But adding Delane to that team, pairing him with Trey Amos would have been, and Mikey Sanders still is really good too. Would have been a nice little young nucleus at corner, but Styles is just he's super talented.
He's a game breaker, man.
This is a great group for
Oh,
the
you
Chiefs.
gotta be kidding me. Son of a bitch. That's
Did they go edge?
Peter Woods.
Okay. Yeah.
Peter Woods and Chris Johnson, man.
You mean Delane?
I was just talking about their interior line. But yeah, with
Chris,
Delane as well.
Chris Jones, gotcha.
Yep.
Anyone surprised that Keldrick Falk hasn't been taken? He'll probably get taken soon, but
I'm a little surprised by that. But, that's how the draft goes.
Jets just moved up from 33 to 30.
Wow. So you're telling me the Jets are going to make 3 first-round picks?
Mm-hmm. And they only gave up 179.
Well, is Aaron Glenn going to lose his job this year if they don't?
Right.
Who are they moving up to get, though? That's my question.
Right.
That's available. So they went. Bailey and then Sadiq.
Wow.
And now they've got 30. Maybe McCoy? I don't know. A guy with medical red flags on his knee playing in MetLife Field. I don't know if that's a great pairing, but
Good point.
Who did they pick? Their first 2 picks?
Bailey at 2 and then Sadiq at 16.
Hey, credit to the
Linebacker.
Jets. Credit to the Jets. Credit to the Jets. They're going, I guess what some would say they're zigging when other teams are zagging because they're going with 3 first-round picks when other teams have traded out of the first round. But, maybe they see an opportunity here to seize upon.
This could be Omar
I like
Cooper
it.
here.
I like it for the Jets, I'll be honest with you.
I could see Omar Cooper or maybe one of the guards potentially.
Could be a linebacker.
Mhm.
Hey, if you're in the chat and you get the pick, post it. Don't care about spoilers here. I mean, like, we're all watching it. What's the difference of, 2 minutes? So if you get the pick, post it up.
We got Life with Jesus says I would go Jacob Rodriguez. Matt Murray says Terrell could be an option. That's a good option as well. CJ Allen is available.
Ton of talent for the Jets to grab here. Now, you're saying, wait a minute. You're saying they held on to 42 or 44, excuse me, but they traded away 33. Got it. Understood.
It was 30. They got 30 and they traded away 33 and 156 or something like that. So they didn't give up significant draft capital to move up.
And that's not bad at all.
179. Yep, Omar Cooper.
Yeah.
It's a good pick. We talked about Omar Cooper in one of our pre-draft videos. He's a guy that he doesn't have an elite trait, but I feel like across the board, if you look at all the criteria, he's good at everything.
Yeah, he's
He's just
solid
a
B.
gamer.
Yep.
Yeah. Really good hands. He's not a burner, but he's got good enough speed, good route runner. I mean, he just does everything well. And
There you go.
yep.
Perfectly timed. I keep thinking about Traydon Stukes. I remember the first time I saw his film, and I thought the projection was like mid to late second round. And I remember thinking, like, this is a really good football player. It seems like I like him more than others. And now people are talking about him being, between 25 and 35. So I think there's a lot of options here for the Bills that unfortunately make them better. As far as the Jets go, I love this group. Bailey, Sadiq, Omar Cooper. I love what they've done.
Yeah.
It sets up whoever their quarterback's going to be next year, whoever they draft with one of their 3 first-round picks. Put them in a good situation.
Asking for a friend. McDonald to the Seahawks makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I think so. The defensive tackle, Leonard Williams, DeMarcus Lawrence, both getting, a little bit older, but I think they're both still spectacular football players. So, yeah, anything to bolster the defensive line. ZK, I personally am really interested if the Seahawks go like with an R. Mason Thomas or a Cassius Howe or someone who brings that upfield rush ability that Derek Hall does not. Uchenna and Nwosu is a balanced rusher, but as far as the Seahawks go, I'm interested in a speed rusher for real to complement what they do. I feel like they've got a lot of power rushers. They've got a lot of guys with they're great on stunts. I'd like to see them grab a Cassius Howe, an R. Mason Thomas, or someone like that. I'm way higher on Cassius Howe than R. Mason Thomas, though. I'll be honest with you.
Dexter Lawrence is back, right?
What you mean?
Or
DeMarcus
not
Lawrence. Yeah.
DeMarcus Lawrence, yeah.
Yes, he did return. Yes.
Yep. I love Byron Murphy too, man. He is a really, really good player.
Yep.
And if you look at it, if you're kind of projecting it into the future, looking at, your defensive line in a couple of years, having Murphy, who is a little bit undersized, more twitched up pass rusher type guy, adding a guy like McDonald would make sense. But I don't know. I mean, you're adding to a D line or, a D tackle room that already is really talented. If you're picking a guy in the first round, ideally you want him playing early and playing significant downs or snaps rather.
So trying to make sure I understand this one. Eagles tried to call Lemon, couldn't get him, then immediately made the trade with Dallas to get him. So I guess Lemon was on the phone with someone.
I love it.
Wow.
I love it.
So the Philadelphia Eagles would have, in this scenario, which there's no reason to not believe it, they would have known that the Steelers were already probably in on drafting him. Either that or
that's
they have
weird.
a source in the Steelers building.
So I know, once teams find out who other teams are taking, they'll go ahead and make the call, just get ahead of the game a little bit. I don't know if Dallas had indicated to Pittsburgh or somebody that they were picking somebody and Lemon was going to be there for the Steelers, but clearly the Eagles took advantage of Dallas kind of being up in the air.
Awesome.
Good. As much as I like Ahanicher, I would have been much more concerned with Mekhi Lemon there.
Very Eagles-like.
We got another trade. Tennessee just moved up.
Wow. Credit
So
to Eagles.
Where did Tennessee move?
31. Wow. The Bills trade back twice or three times?
3 times, I think. Wow.
This got wild near the end.
Yeah, it did.
I couldn't keep up. There was a period of time earlier in the night where I had 2 other things I wanted to do during the stream, and these aren't happening. They're not happening.
It's gotta be. I mean, it could be anything with the Titans, right?
Tomato. Wow. I mean, Tomato is all over this. I don't know who you are, brother, but man, great posts. Steelers fans wanted Vega. We took him.
They
Then
did.
they
Well,
wanted Lemon.
if you read the context clues, like, did you see all the reporters that had the Steelers trading up to go get Vega?
No.
There was quite a few here in the past week, and so I think there was a lot of buzz there. But Vladdy's in purple.
The Bills? I thought the Bills traded out.
Bills traded out, yeah. So the Bills traded with the Titans. Titans move up from 35 to 31. Looks like
Keldrick Falk.
they swapped their second and third round picks, so 66 for 69, and then the Titans got 101 as well. For that doesn't seem right. I gotta hold on. Let me refresh it. I think the reporters are getting exhausted with all these trades too. That math doesn't add up for me.
Yeah, this is wild.
It's insane.
If you
Yeah,
look at the
Keldrick Falk.
board that we've got, if you look at our board and the left-hand column, guys, is the first round. This, so I'll scroll up so everyone can see it if you're, just joining in. Look at, anything here is a trade, obviously. So look at all the trades that you've got in the first round.
How many in the past, like 5, literally every pick. So in the past, 6?
Yeah, I mean, starting with Mekhi Lemon at 20,
Yeah.
how many trades have we actually had? Also, someone saying that the Bills picked Falk. Wow, that's interesting.
Titans pick Falk with the Bills pick.
Got it.
The fall finally ends for Kendrick Falk. He's an interesting player. You know, we had our issues with him on tape, but for a guy his size, you know, the athleticism, he doesn't have like the bend that you'd like for a pass rusher. He's just going to beat you with his, you know, quickness and speed, but he's a guy that you can move around on the defensive line. And I think he's only
20.
20. Yeah.
I think this is the right spot. I'll be honest with you. I thought that he was a pick in the 35 to 45 range based on the film. I'm not talking about the age and all the, quote, measurables. I'm just talking about on film. That did not look like a top 15, 18 pick to me. So I think it's the right spot.
Defense was pretty unique, though. They had like the 3 down linemen, and he would line up kind of in like a 4-eye.
Yep, absolutely.
It was a little strange to me, but
I thought that's where he really looked best.
he did. Yeah,
In
I
that
agree.
tight front. Yeah, look, he really he was a guy that I started hearing about, and then watching him, he was a little disappointing. He just had no kind of juice off the edge, but to your point, that positional versatility that he has, and that I thought he looked particularly good rushing the quarterback inside at the 4-eye, particularly.
I think for him too, not only do you have the athletic traits paired up with the size and the length and stuff, but there's a base floor there because he's really good against the run.
Yeah.
So you're getting a good run defender, and that'll buy him some time to develop as a pass rusher at the next level.
Yeah.
And it's a good spot for him. Like
It
you
is,
said, Coach.
certainly.
It's a good spot.
It fits what Salah's traditionally liked in his his defensive ends, the big, tall, lengthy guys on the edge.
That's kind of what we liked about him, is that he's big, he can stop the run, and the pass rush stuff will come later.
Yeah.
And it's not like we've been missing it because we haven't had it for years.
It
So
honestly,
we haven't had anyone that can rush faster on the other side.
yeah.
So
That's what was really confusing to me about the whole Bain issue, because the first thing Ruben Bain is a terror against the run. He's a terror. Like, he's a terrorizing guy against the run to his side. And so that really confused me. That one happened fast. The Seahawks didn't screw around.
He said they needed it back.
Darian Price.
I'm surprised that the NFL ended this only 1 minute late.
Perfect.
This had to have been the fastest first round in quite some time.
Yeah, wild. I did not expect that, and this was with 57 trades.
Right.
Yeah.
Niners start tomorrow. Looks like, okay.
I'm going down here. Yeah.
Avian Terrell, Denzel Boston, Caden McDonald, Zion Young, Cassius Howell, Colton
Wow.
Hood, Stowers, Chris Brazell, Journey Bernard, Gabe Yakus, CJ Allen. Some good players. TJ Parker still lurking.
Yeah. Unbelievable the way this one ended with all those trades.
Oh, unbelievable. If you want, Coach, I have the best available on ESPN.
Go ahead.
Right now.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm having a lot of trouble with the screen as far as things not appearing on my screen the way that I want them to. So if something looks wonky, you guys let me know. There you go, Jake.
All right. So best available going into day 2, Jerron McCoy. That one seemed like it was happening as the later we got into the first round. A lot of medical flags. McNeil Warren should go early day 2. So should honestly this whole group right here. Katie McDonald's a really talented player. Denzel Boston. Let's see. Anybody catch your eye?
Bernard.
He's a gamer. Yeah.
Bernard. I think Hill Jr. is another guy that Ken did a review on that I thought sounded pretty good. I haven't watched any of his tape though, so I can't speak to it at that level.
Yeah, I've done the same thing. I watched like a couple clips of Hill, and that was about it. I've just been taking other people's evaluations and running with it. But
I guess one thing to think about: what if Basantis and Pregnon are there at 45? Which, if you look at this list, if you look at the talent that's here right now, I could see that happen.
I mean, Coach, I think you're kind of begging the question of would we take 2 guards in the first 2 rounds? So DaCosta came out and kind of said that they usually would not do that. So you asked me a question earlier in the night about philosophy. Now I understand it's the liar's luncheon, but it's hard for me to see them going back to back at guard, which is something we talked about earlier tonight when we were saying, will the Ravens go guard in the first round? And I said, well, maybe not if they feel like they like some of the later guys. So I don't think that they would. In terms of my own philosophy, I think I'd still be okay with it, just because you always need swing guys and stuff like that. But it would be you'd have to look long and hard at the other guys before you went back to back at a non-premium position.
Yeah, I think what I really meant was, I guess for people who are going to say you should have taken a weapon there at 14,
Right.
would Basantis and Pregnon have been there if you took a Sadiq or a Bain, let's say? You're now inserting Iwane back into the guard pool that's remaining after you've. So theoretically, if Pregnon and Basantis are there tomorrow at 45, they would have been there if we had not taken Iwane. If that's really what I was talking about. I'm not saying we should have done that. I'm just a conversation point. We're 3.5 hours in. I should be ready to go to bed, but I'm not.
Yeah, no, almost certainly. Almost certainly they would have been there because Ioane would be another pick down the board. So mathematically, you're on sound ground.
I think that's a risk that they weren't willing to take, though. We knew it. I think the front office knew it. The interior offensive line needed to be upgraded, and Ioane was the best. He might be the best offensive lineman in this draft, just based on pure talent. So taking him, it addresses a need, but it also improves your offense significantly. I like Pregnon, but he's not Ioane, and I think what's his name, Basantis, still has some growing to do in general. So if you just look at this list of top 20 players, we're going to get somebody pretty damn good at 45.
Can we do something here, Jake?
Mm-hmm.
So one word answer. Jake will just read out the player name, and then each of us yes or no. Are we surprised that the player is still available going into day 2? So obviously you're going to start at the top, right?
Yep. So McCoy.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm surprised. Yes.
Yeah.
He has first round tape, but him missing the entire year last year.
Injury,
and of course the late news about the medicals. McNeil Warren, this is a guy kind of built in that like Nick Eamon-Wari kind of build, super physical guy.
I'm not surprised.
Eamon-Wari, Terrell, now we're kind of getting in the range. Oh, there's a dog.
Anybody else? Yes, no on McNeil Warren? Surprised? Yes or no?
I wouldn't have surprised.
I haven't watched
if
enough
you
tape.
went.
Yeah, go ahead.
Guys, I think I'm going to jump off.
Yeah, man. You've had a long day.
Yeah. I'll catch up with y'all tomorrow.
100%, man. If you want to join in tomorrow night, let me know.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Sorry with that. I'm back to the dog dropped the bone underneath the couch, started barking.
Understood. I keep getting my screen dropping, so I hope that on everybody else's end it's stable. It's not on mine. But so who are we on? Terrell?
Terrell, yeah, he was kind of, in my opinion, one of those like could go round one. I think the injury thing with him missing the combine, and then again at his pro day workout, kind of sealed the deal for him as a potential first rounder.
Anybody else on Terrell?
I mean, from the only two I had a first round grade on were McCoy and Delane. So I would say that Terrell didn't even get on my radar for the first round. So usually some of the other guys on here I've seen before, like Boston was on my radar. I know we're about to get to him, but Boston was somebody who people thought could go maybe later in round one. I think most people I think McCoy right now is the one that stands out as the person that people thought would go in round one because he plays a pretty premium position, and he'd be the second one behind Delane. So just from a count perspective and from a talent perspective, I think he was the guy that stands out the most to me on this board. It's probably him and Boston as the two guys that had the first round thing.
Good point.
So we got some comments coming in here. I see Bono's like Stowers. I know you've got the connection with Stowers there, Coach. We like him, probably not at 45, but a really talented player would fit, as that tight end too right away. Tomato likes Christian Miller. We love Christian Miller.
100%.
Zion Young. He'd be the high upside with the traits that he has, both physically and on tape. Just didn't see enough on, from a skill set point of view, in my opinion. But, yeah, and I agree with Bo there at the end. Still think D-Hop, Clowney, and Reeder are on speed dial. The Ravens have all those veterans on speed dial ready to go. They're just waiting until after, towards the tail end of training camp to give them a call. In terms of, instead of going player by player, are there any names on the list of available guys that you think could have or should have went first round, or guys that you think will go really quickly?
Denzel Boston. I thought he was like a 24 to 35 range. Mm-hmm. So I would think he's early tomorrow, not late.
So, the Ravens never trade up for guys, looking back at history. If he starts slipping a little bit in the second round, and I don't think he will, because, traditionally the receivers who fall into the second round, they go pretty quickly in round two.
Right.
If he starts slipping a little bit, I could see a scenario where the Ravens move up for him, because we talked about it last show. He would be a perfect complement to Zay and Bateman as like your big red zone X target.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the long speed which is why he's still here in the second round, in my opinion. But
right.
Reliable hands, can make contested catches. So if he starts slipping a little bit, I wouldn't be surprised if Baltimore gets on the phone and starts asking, how much would it cost to move up and get him.
Yeah.
Cade McDonald, I'm kind of surprised didn't go in the first round, in my opinion. But he's a dominant D tackle. I think what hurt him is his inability to rush the passer, or his lack of production rushing the passer. But as a run defender, he's fantastic.
He reminds me of DJ Reader, and he wears the same number. I mean, he just looks like another DJ Reader clone to me.
Yeah, really good player. Zion Young, Cassius Howell obviously has the measurements thing. Colton Hood, good player, probably second rounder though. Nothing really surprises me here.
No, I think there's just a ton of. I think to me, when you go down that list, you could probably continue to go further down that list, but I see that it's the way that it's filtered. I think there's another 10 or 12 players that are legitimate early second round talented guys. I think it's a great group. D'Angelo Ponce is there. Ted Hurst is there. Traydon Stukes is there at what, 30? Is at 37? And that's the available players, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched Traydon Stukes for the first time on I think it was Monday or Tuesday night. I loved his tape, man.
So you're telling me there's 36 guys available now, still available, remaining, that are better than Traydon Stukes? I'm not sure. I'm not so sure about that. I think he's a fantastic football player. I think there's a ton of talent left here in round 2. As a Ravens fan, and somebody who roots for the Lions and the Seahawks, depending on who those teams are playing, obviously, I'm worried about like teams like the Bills who have just stockpiled picks.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like in that second, third, fourth round range. I think there's a lot of talent out on this board.
And that was kind of the logic behind the Ravens potentially trading back from 14 is stockpiling these picks from 40 to 100 because there's going to be so many guys that are going to be contributors early on in their career that are going to play
ready to
early
go.
and ready to go. Exactly.
Ready to go.
Yeah, we'll see. It'll be interesting. Who? Let's just see to wrap it up real quick.
Yeah, exactly. I'm having so much trouble with the stream here on my end. I'm hoping that it's only on my end. It's I hope that it hasn't been sloppy looking for people because it's probably my fault. Something I've done in overwhelming StreamYard. But anyway, go ahead, Jake.
The YouTube looks good. I have it up on my other monitor here, but second round picks here: Niners, Arizona, Buffalo, right there.
Do you think Stukes makes it, Coach, to
50?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like if Stukes makes it to 50, I mean, you saw what I put in the Discord.
Well,
I think
49 is the Vikings who still need a safety. So,
Oof. I mean, he is perfect. He is perfect for Flores, but I think Stukes is perfect for anybody who drafts him. I mean, a Ravens fan, I think as Matt put it in there, like the Ravens don't need a nickel DB. I agree, but I'm just telling anyone, like the reason why there's so many more good nickels in this draft is because more people at the high school level are playing a base nickel defense. So these guys are coming in to college more experienced at that position, and then thus they're moving into the NFL more experienced at that position. I think you're going to see more teams in the McDonald, Minter mold, the Texans as well, base nickel platform, dedicated nickel. In some cases, maybe 2 of them. The guys that one to the boundary, one to the field. Those guys that can rotate and shift. I believe in Traydon Stukes when I watch him play football. He's a 4'3", 40 guy, great ball skills. I love the talent. I don't think he's there for 50. No, Josh. I think he's gone.
I think I had him. I did it last second, but I think I put him in like my top 30, top 35-ish range.
Yeah.
yeah.
What are the needs for you guys tomorrow?
Edge is the perennial thing. I don't think that'll get addressed, to be honest. They could use another corner.
TJ Parker would be an interesting fit for you guys.
Yeah,
I think he's a guy who's kind of slipping down because he had a.
Is he like an effort guy, right?
He doesn't have the elite, bend around the edge, but he's a really good run defender.
Yeah,
pretty polished, but it's like I was talking about earlier. These Clemson guys took a huge step back this year, and I think it's more of a team-wide issue than it is an individual player issue.
Yeah,
but TJ Parker played well down the stretch, like significantly better than he was at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, it's hard to tell with Brad because he tries to address everything before the draft, and when he addresses it, he feels like it's addressed, and that way he can just go BPA. So, do I think Blake Miller was BPA on his board? Yeah, I do. Maybe not on a lot of other people's boards.
Right.
But so be it, kind of thing. I think that's pretty much it. I think they'll take a running back at some point, but that probably won't be till late.
Yeah, of course.
I'm trying to think.
You could end up with one of our guys. I mean, I could see, depending on how long he's on the board, Roman Hemby, a Maryland guy, a big play guy, historically in Maryland at the University of Maryland, and then Indiana. I could see him Detroit's got 2 4th-round picks. They got 2 5th-round picks and 2 6th-round picks. In
Yeah.
that span, I absolutely expect them to pick a running back in that span of 6 picks for sure.
Yeah, I think I'll bet if he can, I'll bet that he'll try to package those to move up into the third. Package 2 of them to move up into the third, and then he'll stick and pick at the following 4th and 5th.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised to see our Navy midshipman Eli Heidenreich go either late 3rd round or early 4th round. I think I had him graded as my exactly 100th player. He's just fun, man, and he's a good tough runner.
Great ball skills.
Great ball skills. He's not a wide receiver, but he's just a super talented. You can use him in all 3 downs.
100%.
And you're getting a great kid, obviously, out of the academy. So,
yeah, I think Detroit. Personally, I would hope they address edge in the 2nd round because you're missing a 3rd-round pick. Beyond that, as far as Baltimore goes, Baltimore has a little bit more flexibility on the front end because we go 45 and 80. So we do have that 3rd-round pick, but again, the Lions have 2 4ths, 2 5ths, and 2 6ths, and I do think that this year's 5th round is almost a 4th round quality type of group. And I think this year's 4th round is almost a 3rd round quality type of group. I think there's more good football players in this draft in that 2nd, 3rd, 4th round range. And I think it extends pretty far. So I think there's a ton of talent left on this board, and I'm super excited to see what happens tomorrow. I'm probably going to stream again if my wife will let me, if any of you guys are interested in joining. If anyone in the comment section has a way that can improve what's done here, feel free to let me know. I mean, it was very fast moving, and to some extent, I was not prepared for that. It was a lot of fun though for me.
I didn't realize how much of a difference going from 10 minutes to 8 minutes would make.
Yeah.
I feel like the picks were flying off the board.
Yeah.
And then there was a couple of situations where I felt like it was there was maybe 2. Where I was like, why isn't this pick in yet?
Several lined up at some point.
Yeah. It was right before Pittsburgh pick, there was 4 in the queue. Just already announced on Twitter, but they haven't announced it on the stage yet. And then Pittsburgh came up and they had to do their whole, thing.
They had fun with it, apparently. I mean, I just saw a highlight on Twitter. I was trying to do a couple of other things and it just didn't happen. Tomorrow night will be, what's the time frame for the picks tomorrow? It's not down to 5 minutes, is it? Is it 7?
Let me check real quick. Time for picks, NFL draft.
You know what I'm really bummed about is that Malachi Lawrence is gone.
Yeah.
I liked him a lot.
Yeah. Good size. He was almost like a blend between the Mesidor, who's got pass rush skills, actual real developed skills, and then the physical guys like a Zion Young and Keldrick Falk who don't have pass rush moves but are big and physical. Lawrence was like a hybrid between those guys, a bridge, if you will. So, yeah, I agree. Yakus is a good one. Sutton is a good one. I think Easy pointed that one out. I still think there's good options out there on the board at edge tomorrow.
Yeah.
Day 2, 2nd round, 7 minutes in between picks, and then 5 minutes for round 3.
Love it. Well, if you guys or anyone else who watched this long, first, thank you guys for that. I would appreciate any comments, suggestions about how to improve it tomorrow. There won't be a ton of time for me to do so. I actually, tomorrow is Grandparents' Day at one of my children's schools, and all of the grandparents canceled, so I have to go to Grandparents' Day.
Great. That's how it works.
So, yeah, I know, right? So it'll be fun. My son asked, he was like, why are you coming to Grandparents' Day? I was like, so that you have somebody there. So, but in the afternoon, I'll be prepping some stuff for tomorrow night's stream. I love this. It's a lot of fun. I'd like to be better at it. And I really, it wouldn't have even looked this good if it weren't for Old Walter and Jen in our Discord entering the names live time as they were picked. So,
yeah, it's awesome. I think you did a pretty good job, Coach. You always do.
Well, Jake and I have tried to prepare for this as much as possible the last 2 or 3 months with all the film that we watched and the players. I think I'm not surprised with the talent that's there for tomorrow. Yeah, I feel confident saying that. I'm not surprised. I think it fits with the fact that people knew this was a maybe tier 2 heavy draft, right?
Yeah, without a doubt. We all kind of had an idea that this was going to be a really strong draft in between rounds 2 and 4, maybe even to round 5. A couple surprises in the first round, but for the most part, most of the guys that went, we expected. So it'll be an interesting day tomorrow with, the volume of talent that we have going into the day.
I think I was surprised by the order, not necessarily the players that went, but the order of the top picks.
Mm-hmm.
I understand why Jeremiah Love at 3. I understand why. I'm just surprised that they did that so early. But when you're talking about a generational talent at running back, I understand that. And then who else was it that I was surprised that they went that early?
So this right here on the screen is Dane Brugler's best available, and then he has a cool chart that shows you the depth of the positions that are still available. So you can see wide receiver, there's plenty of players.
Yeah.
The darker the cell, obviously, the higher rated they are. So edge and wide receiver, D tackle, corner's got a lot of quality players here. So cool little visual for those who are wondering which positions are still available.
I think also along with that, the corner group looks thin, but it makes me wonder about, what, because, people call it a slot corner and some people call it a nickel or big nickel. Like, what the hell's the difference? You know what I mean? There are
Right.
guys that are playing inside corner on number 2. So I wonder about that group at corner looking, to me, I think that looks thin. That group at corner. And the only explanation I can have for that is that must be limited to outside corners only.
I think they combine them. We love D'Angelo Pons, but I think Keith Abney's probably a nickel. Chandler Rivers for sure.
Yeah, Jaden Kennedy played slot DB in college for Oregon. Will Lee's an outside corner. Colin Wright. And so Traydon Stukes played. Okay, so they've got Traydon Stukes as a corner, but a slot corner. So there are some slot corners included in it. Pons played boundary side corner, but yes, projection-wise, most people think he's going to be, a nickel. I could see him. I could see Pons being like a Devin Witherspoon, playing outside corner on first and second down and playing slot DB on third downs. But I might be overestimating his talent. That's a really cool graphic. Can you go back to the main view of it so we can see the colors?
Yeah. Look at wide
So
receiver.
the darker the color, the more intense or the more talented the player, presumably.
Yep. So this is, this darkest cell in the wide receiver column is Denzel Boston, who was his 26th overall. Moved down Jeremy Bernard, Chris Bell, Malachi Fields. So just to give you an idea of how that
It's a
operates.
sick graphic. I mean, that
Really
that
cool.
opens my mind up to some options for us for next year.
Yeah, seriously. So
We'll screenshot
up here is the what's it called? The key. So the black cell is the darkest shaded cell is the number 1 overall player on Dane's top 300, and then the lightest light bluish cell is his 300th overall player. So
Got it.
really cool though. Love the way that.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
love
really
that
cool
one.
visual, man. That's awesome. I can't shout out Dean, not as if he doesn't get enough shout outs in the first place, but what he does with the beast thing that he does every year is unbelievable. The amount of detail, and he gets background information on every single player that he writes up. It's fantastic.
And seems classy too. There doesn't seem to be attempts to what's the word?
Bash a player.
Denigrate anyone. Yeah, it's respectful.
100%.
It's respectful. Yeah.
If somebody has a red flag, he'll write it, but write it in a way that like a like you would see in like a police report or something, just describes what happened. Has no opinion to it whatsoever. But
I got to get ready to go here, guys. But independent of the Lions and Ravens, Seahawks too. Let's omit all three of those. Who's the best pick? Who's the best pick for you in this draft that you've seen tonight? And which team do you think came out of here the best? And I'm omitting the Ravens, Lions, and Seahawks intentionally. So if you've got a pick, a individual pick that you like the most, and then a team that you think, I've got my team answer, and I hate to say it, but I'll tell you when you guys are done.
Josh, you go first if you want.
Oof. I'm going to say the Bucs came out really good with Bane at a position of need. Got a great player.
Love it.
We're probably going to end up playing him, and Jared's going to get sacked a couple times in that game for sure. So, I mean, yeah, I think the Bucs came out pretty good.
I
For
think
a team or the player?
For the player.
Got it. How about team?
For the player, for sure. Oh, you're saying which NFL team did the
which
best
team
work
do you
here?
think came out of this the best work? Just first round only.
I can tell you mine real quick. Kansas City, man.
Yep.
Yeah,
Holy
but-
shit.
Yeah.
Mansour Delane and Peter Woods, and they didn't have to give up their first round pick. And do they have a 2?
To move up and get Delane, basically they didn't have to give up their second first round pick. Yeah, that's spectacular.
And they didn't have to give up their second round pick. They gave up
Yeah.
a third.
Wow.
Yeah.
I agree with, I think it's Matt Murray, that Cleveland's done a great job here, not just tonight, but also setting themselves up in the right spots for tomorrow. Casey Concepcion is better than I knew when I first started watching film. So for me, Cleveland's done great. I'm going to pick the Chiefs as the team that unfortunately I think did the best. But, easily someone could say the Jets too, right?
Yeah. Well,
Jets just
easily,
because of the
they have
volume of picks.
3.
Yeah. You know what? Cleveland, I'm going to say Kansas City, obviously, because they're a playoff, Super Bowl contender team, and they got 2 high impact guys. But Cleveland did the same thing last year, where they just accumulated a bunch of impact picks because they moved down a couple spots, and teams are so willing to give up a lot, to move up a few spots, and they take advantage of it. Last year they moved down, were they 2, and they moved down with Jacksonville. Ended up still getting Mason Graham and Quinshon Judkins and the linebacker too, Schlesinger. They cleaned up there, and then today, of course, with Fano and Concepcion hitting 2 huge needs. I mean, all they need is a quarterback, but they've been chasing that for however many years. So,
Matt, yes. Watching the film, you come to look at it and go, how did they have so many good players, but not be able to? There's issues with run fits sometimes, or what people would call run fits, but just responsibility and I think being in the right position. So, yeah, I did. I'm not going to go into it any further than that, but I think it's possible a year or 2 from now, Matt, that people look back at the Clemson defense in 2025 and say, how did they have these guys and not play a better brand of defense? There was a lot of talent there.
I mean, their whole team in general took a step back. It wasn't just Peter Woods. It was T.J. Parker. It was Cade Klubnik, who was projected as like a, fringe first-round guy at the time last year. Antonio Williams was projected as like an early, day 1, day 2 guy. Didn't really – he performed pretty well, but just with the amount of talent that they have on their roster, or they had on their roster last year, I think they were the preseason like top 5, top 10, and they ended up having a crap year.
I think I don't know if I want to say favorite pick, but the pick that I'm most intrigued by is probably going to be controversial. but he's going to a team that already has a receiver in Olave who can produce, and he's super talented. I'm really interested to see what Jordan Tyson does in New Orleans, because I think he had the best pure talent at receiver in this draft, even though I really, really like Cardinal Tate too. So that's my team and my player.
Tyson, for me, and this has a little Ravens bias to it, but he has a lot of Rashad Bateman qualities to him, like extremely good route runner. But the injury history has to be considered here.
Yep.
Ideal size, Bateman's probably a little lighter, I guess, but in terms of being able to, create separation and, at his size, he's a really talented player. I think for me, I'm going to stay in the same position group, but I'm going to go a little later. Mekhi Lemon to Philly, man. Howie Roseman finds a way to get these top 10, top 15 talents at a later range and pounces on it and takes advantage of it.
Get him the ball. Get him the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Get him the ball.
Which, by the way, is a huge indicator that A.J. Brown is well out the door.
Oh, yeah. He's a Patriot.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
All right. Well, I got to get going here, guys. My wife has asked me. I told her the draft will be done earlier this year. She said, "You said it would be done earlier. What are you still doing there?" So this was a huge amount of fun for me. Probably a little low energy compared to other streams maybe that overreact. It was a lot of fun and challenging to try to incorporate a whole bunch of different people. If you guys don't have anything going on tomorrow, feel free to let me know. I'd love to do another stream tomorrow night. Probably not for Saturday though. Got a lot going on, but appreciate you guys joining in. Jake, Josh, and everybody who did. I think I actually forgot to send one guy an invite, so I got an apology email to write real quick. But appreciate you guys' time, man. If you got any suggestions for what we could do better here, feel free to let us know in the comment section. Have a good evening, guys.
Thanks, guys.
See you later.